Hey yo.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Yo, can you hear me now? Same. Test. Okay, must be okay.
Hello.
Hey man.
Yo.
Yo, how you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing alright, doing alright.
What's the latest?
It's the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to going to the dentist tomorrow. As soon as I wake up to have one of my fillings done. It's gonna be interesting. So like, one of my fillings got like a little bit damaged. I have to like redo it.
You're
Testing YouTube.
got a sore tooth right now.
Not kind of. It's not really bothering me too much.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I can handle it.
I'm gonna send you something.
What? What about you? What have you been doing? What are you saying? What are you saying?
Not too much, not lately. But we did Japanese wedding photos. I'll just send you.
Okay. Oh, sick. Oh, I'm kind of envious of you, my guy. Like, you're getting to wear like the proper like kimono stuff over there, man. Shit like that. Oh man.
It was kind of fun. It's kind of funny, but it was so hot that day. It was like 35 degrees.
Sweating your balls off.
Yeah, I was sweating like crazy.
Does it like take ages to like put that all on as well?
Yeah, it took like an hour to get everything on.
Fuck, an hour, dude. That's proper ceremonial, you know, like.
Yeah, it was rough. And then we switched to like American style clothes at the end, and it was like, oh my god, so much better. Yeah.
It's all about humanity.
Yeah, it felt so much better just wearing like a suit jacket and a shirt.
I bet in contrast it was like, yeah, like you could actually breathe and your body and your skin could actually get air to it. That's really cute pictures, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, we had fun.
Yeah, the second picture in particular is like really nice picture, man. So when did you actually take these pictures? What day was it?
This was like a month ago.
Yeah.
It took a long time to get them back.
Yeah, I remember you. I think I remember you mentioning how hot it was wearing it after you did it.
Yeah, it was crazy hot.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't send some of the larger photos. Wait, maybe I can just edit it and change it to a JPEG.
The larger than life photos.
They're huge. I don't know
Sort
why.
of thing you'd put on like a banner. Can't even imagine how many pixels are in like a proper like billboard type picture.
Oh, these are like, some of these are like 30 gigabytes. Makes no sense. It's crazy.
30 gig, dude. How many pixels are in these things?
I don't know. I really don't know. It's crazy. Hey.
Is it like just because they're like really uncompressed and really high resolution pictures?
Yeah, they're, I don't know, the ECIM or whatever, the like Canon photography, what's it called? Shit. You know, the camera, like when you take a photo, the raw image.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are huge files now.
Yeah, completely uncompressed.
These days, they're fucking huge. Took like a full day to download them all.
Shit, man. It's good pictures. You two already peeked together.
I thought so. Was fun. Not something I would have done normally, but was a good time. We chose some pretty fun locations too. Oh, here we go. I can finally send this. It was the place we went on our first date. It's like a hiking place with waterfalls and stuff.
Ooh.
It's nice.
It's not yet loaded for me. How big is this thing? I've got fucking fiber. It's not even loading. What?
Oh, this one. For some reason, it says 0.
It's pooped out.
It says 0.
This one's pooped out, I think, mate. It's not gonna send this one.
Yeah. Yeah, this one didn't work.
Is it massive, or why did it not work?
I just tried to change the file type so that it would be a smaller file type. Like, this is what I always do with when I can't upload to YouTube. Like, I make a thumbnail and it's too big.
Right.
Then I just change the file type to JPEG and then save it again, and it makes it smaller. But it's not working with this for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
A great photo though. It's like there's like a pool.
Can you take a screenshot of it and send me the screenshot?
Probably. Maybe I'll just do a snip.
Something like that.
That'll do.
Oh, and how long is the KCM tonight? Is it a long one, medium one, or?
It is pretty normal, I guess.
Okay.
Wait a second, is this the same one? Did I download or did I?
You sent me one when you were on like a red bridge with the waterfall in the background.
I opened the wrong one. There we go. I got the right one open now. It's actually a little shorter. The full length of the... I don't want to spoil it for your audience.
Yeah, don't say anything. I just wanted to get gist. Alright.
Like that?
Go on.
That waterfall. It's cool, eh?
I was literally just about to talk about it. Yeah, that's badass waterfall. And the angle of the photo is really nice too. I like that picture a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah, that waterfall's beautiful, man.
I was actually pretty comfortable in this outfit. My wife was like, she was dying.
She's dying?
Yeah, this shit was so heavy and hot. It was crazy. And she had like the tiniest little shoes, you know, like those little Japanese slippers.
Yeah.
And we were like hiking in those. It was crazy.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, to get up there, it was kind of nuts. But I was laughing. I was still hot, but I was laughing compared to her. She was struggling.
You're relishing the experience a little bit more.
Yeah, I was just. It was still rough. I was wearing the little sandals as well, but I was like, this is my experience here is way nicer. Oh shit! I got rid of my.
Alright, guys.
Close my Discord by accident. Okay, you're still here.
Get started up with the game soon.
We have some weirdness here in this week. Have you ever heard of Mool Soul?
Mool Soul?
Yeah, I've never heard of him before, but he's on the Protoss lineup. So, yeah.
But he's on the Protoss lineup this week?
Yeah.
Okay, so like this player that's like no one really knows much about is just suddenly on the KCM lineup this week.
Yeah, it's weird. I was trying to look him up.
Interesting.
He doesn't even have a Wikipedia page at all.
Yeah, no, I don't know
No,
this
look
guy.
up-
I don't think I've ever seen this guy's ID before. It's very ambiguous. I don't know where this guy is from.
And
I
I
would-
was looking at he's in the Caster Muse Narok Star League. He played a few seasons apparently. Apparently Artosis played in the Caster Muse Narok Star League too.
Oh yeah. Okay,
funny.
yeah. So yeah, I see from 2020, Muso versus Scan, Narok Star League, like you say.
KCM Challenge, he was in there too. That was 2019, a long time ago.
Killing him off very quickly, and now his carriers come. Ooh, we all massed too many carriers. Off a carrier. Very painful for Muso. He ripped the map. Kind of
Well, he plays carriers. Some information about him.
It is the siege.
Okay,
Muso,
He
Good
does
to know,
free-based
good to know.
carriers in his wheelhouse. Yeah.
not that many victory rights available. Very nicely done.
I'm
GG.
But
just
he
looking at
got-
his results.
Looks like he got smashed a bit
Didn't-
by Scan though, so I don't know how good this guy's going to be. I mean, Scan's pretty good. But this was 2 years ago. Maybe he's even better now.
Jeez. Yeah, Caster Muse Narok Star League, he just got smoked. Mul Soul, his entire like
Well,
Group B
I had
just
a-
0-2.
I had a quick flick through his replay against Scan, like on the VOD, and yeah, I didn't really see anything that like resembled great play.
Mm.
He doesn't seem bad. He just there's nothing that's like leaping out at like this guy might be fucking good. Just seems like I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna have any chance against these other guys. Is what I'm saying.
This is unfortunate. I was really hoping we were gonna see rain.
Who
Or
knows though?
rain.
Maybe this guy's got like some cheese prepared, or he's just a lot better than he has been in a while. Maybe they want. But yeah, honestly, like, I'm looking at a lot of his plays against Scan from 2 years ago, and they are pretty questionable. So, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to hang with the other players in this lineup. Probably, I don't know. But like, someone like Light is going to literally just like slap him around. Honestly, like, I just don't see how he can even hang with like JYJ or so. I can't see it happening. But maybe his PVT is not so good. Maybe his like PVZ is really good. I don't know. But I don't think so. I think he's probably going to get mauled by these other players.
I wonder what's the problem. They just didn't have any other Zergs here, or any other Protosses here. What happened? Why we got Stork, Mighty, Mulesol? That's like the weakest Protoss
Let me
lineup
get the lineup on the
I think
screen,
we've
guys. One second.
seen this season or last season. What do we know about Mighty?
Mighty's, I think Mighty's okay actually.
Let's take a look at some results here.
Like, I don't think he's like really good from what I know, but I think he's okay. He's definitely probably way better than this other guy.
Yeah, he's participated in ACS a bit.
He's got a pretty respectable win record. Yeah, he's a pretty solid player. I mean, he's certainly no like Snow or anything, but he's solid.
All right, and I think Stork, obviously a legend, but hasn't really been playing up to par recently. Good God, that's insane. Actually, I'm
Yeah.
just looking at his stats like pre 2008. Kind of wild when he was part of the Six Dragons, you know. 85% win rate against Terran. That's like that is crazy. Still, even to this day, 62%.
It's kind of a crazy number when you think about it. Yeah.
That's pretty insane.
I mean, anything 60+% is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him on the same level anymore as like Light or even Sock, JYJ. That lineup is fucking sick for Terran and for Zerg. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Protoss. I mean, Stork's. I'm really excited to see Stork. Mighty's solid, like we say. Muso, though, not so much. Muso, not so much, I'm going to say. But yeah, Queen, Soma, Soki, all three fantastic players. Suck like JJ. But these are like really like. I think this is the kind of lineup you send out there when you want to win. Whereas I'm definitely not getting that vibe from the Protoss lineup. But maybe they'll surprise us.
Yeah, I don't know. Sock is doing so good lately. I can't believe he's not in the ASL. That's crazy. After we saw him all kill here in KCM,
well,
he just didn't make it.
That's just how high the standard is, though. Like, there's so many pros, and only a few of them, only a handful of them can actually make it into ASL. The competition is fierce, and like, someone of Sock's caliber who can come into KCM and dominate like that is still gonna have a hard time of it and not be able to make it. That's how crazy the competition is in this game. Kind of what makes it so exciting when you see the leagues of difference of skill even at the highest echelons of play.
Let me just check and see who he got knocked out by. For the cast, he got knocked out by Ivory. That's right. He got knocked out by Ivory. And
out by Ivory. Knocked from his ivory tower by Ivory. Well, what's interesting is that Stork likes carriers as well, and Muso apparently likes carriers, so we might see some carriers today. So,
Killer is the one who knocked him out.
Killer. Ooh. Killer's pretty good.
Killer in the final. It's actually a pretty deadly group. Killer, Saxry, and Sock all in the same group. Only Killer made it through. It's nuts. Alright. Are we ready?
I think we're ready.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to KCM. We're getting down to brass tacks here, down to the final couple of weeks. We're going to start out with a Zerg versus Protoss. Game number 1, here we go. As you can see, the lineup here is a little bit strange. We've thrown together quite the conglomeration of Protoss players, Stork, Mighty, and Mulsol, with Mulsol coming out first against Solki here. Who is this guy, and does he stand a chance against Solki?
I don't think he stands much of a chance against Solki. We only found out that he played a game against Scan like 3 years ago, and I think he went carriers and got kind of mauled by Scan, so didn't have the best of performance there. I think most of his record has been pretty 0-2 across the board from what little we could glean from this guy. I don't think he's... Honestly, I think he's on the chopping block at the moment. I think Solki's gonna maybe murder him. However, I've not seen him play PvZ. Maybe he's just really weak in PvT and he's gonna like show us some amazing play right now. But I'm not too sure about him on this lineup here. So
this is probably the way to go, is to send out a rookie player like this first with a interesting strategy. Try to give them a chance to at least get a single win, but I don't think that he's going to be able to take down Solki either. Solki is all trained up for the ASL right now. He's ready to compete. Mulsol hasn't even made it into the ACS, I believe. He's played in a few other leagues like the Caster Muse Star League, but not really getting big success against any of these really top tier pro players. So if he is able to take down Sulky here, that would be an amazing win on his record. But yeah, I just don't see it here. He's gone for a Forge first. We'll give him a chance. But Sulky definitely the favorite right now. Now, Nexus is started. We're checking on the eggs. We're not going to get killed by early Lings here. I don't know about his micro with Zealots, so it's probably the better choice to go for that Forge.
Yeah, and he also did the double scout, so he's playing very safe and not taking any gambles against Sulky, which is the wise decision. Just because Sulky's a macro-centric player doesn't mean he isn't capable of going for something even as crazy as a 5-pull against you, so you always want to be, oh, look at this beautiful catch from Sulky. 4 Lings getting the perfect strat on that probe and killing it very quickly. This is very uncomfortable for Mulsoul now, because he can't cut any corners. He has no idea how many Zerglings are in production, so he has no idea how many probes he might need to pull to potentially block a Ling run by. He's not able to see the timing of the 3rd base. He doesn't know the timing of the gas either, so he doesn't know if it's going to be a 2-base lair, very fast tech, or Ling speed first, or whatever it could be. So very in the dark now is Mulsoul.
Yeah, that's a good competency check here for the Protoss is, can you keep your probe alive in the Zerg main? And if you're very far below your opponent, if your Zerg opponent is a lot better than you, you're probably not going to be able to keep that alive for long. And we can see he's already lost that probe. He's going to get a second one to come up here. Great attempted surround there by Sulky, but immediately pulling back from Mulsoul. I mean, we haven't seen hardly any Lings produce, and Sulky's kind of getting away with hiding his build here and building up a ton of drones at the same time. He hasn't thrown down a layer just yet. As we get closer to that 100 gas, I think actually a Hydralisk Den has been dropped in the main now, so we're going to see a bust here.
Yeah, well, he's denied this probe from getting inside his base, and he wasn't able to set up like a shift command mine to the mineral line to be able to drill through the Lings to be able to get a confirmation scout. So it's like a guaranteed Hydra Den going unscouted here, and he doesn't need to fully commit to it either. Could just force a bunch of cannons with a fake Hydra bust and then go straight into a 4th hatchery and go into macro from there. But because of how unscouted this is and how difficult it will be for Mulsoul to glean exactly how much defenses he will need, it's very likely that this will be a successful Hydra bust. I think he'll be very unaware of what's going on right now. He won't even know that the Hydra bust is coming until the Corsair's probably scouting across the map, and then it'll be too late.
Well, he's keeping this probe alive out in the front, so maybe as a Hydra pops out here and starts to head across the map, he might be able to catch that, but now that Ling speed is done, that becomes even less of a possibility. The Zealot is hiding over at 12 o'clock, just kind of obfuscating on the map, making sure that it's not found here earlier on, but I wish he would have been sending this in a little bit sooner. Got to get over here and find out about these Hydras popping out. He sent it back home to be part of this wall, but that just means there's really nothing out here for Mulsoul to glean what's coming here, and Hydras are going to start to be produced soon. Oh, actually, a big wave of Lings. Okay, Hydras are popping out now, and the Corsair is in production. So a 3rd cannon? No, it's a pylon, so no 3rd cannon, just 2 cannons here at the front. He could just straight up die right here. It's very, very scary at this moment for Mulsoul. A little bit of a supply block, but we are going to resume Hydra production. Here comes the Corsair. He's going to see the Hydras. We'll see how he prepares for this.
Yeah, it's really difficult for Mulsoul to be able to come out here and even see that the Hydras are on their way with the Zealots, because he's got like the Lings just in time to stop the Zealots from moving out, and now he can come in and start taking pot shots at this Forge placement and force the Zealots off the line and take some damage off them as well. Panicking and throwing down many cannons now is Mulsoul, keeping coming off the line with these Zealots to try and bully back the Hydras, but he's kind of like calling his bluff and not even going to try and micro back with those Hydras, and instead just like keep the fire on the gateway and try and hammer down this wall. there's a few more units streaming across the map right now. Fourth hatchery is going down, so actually I'm not too sure if he's fully committing to this at the moment. He is maybe ready to switch if he needs to, but right now he is fully committed. He's killing cannon after cannon kills. There's times the DT as well. There is some High Templars popping out. We will have Storm eventually, but it'll be a little bit of time before Storm's even close to being finished. So right now going to be relying purely on these Zealots and cannons, but we'll be probably losing this Forge and Gateway if he continues to make some Hydras. But I don't think he's 100% committed to busting this right now. I think he's just trying to force as much of a response out of Muso as possible, while he's starting to squeeze out some drones and some macro back at home as well. Now placing down the 5th hatchery as well. So just trying to open up this wall position and force as many cannons as possible to really weaken the timing of the Protoss' ability to move out and break out from a contain soon.
Yeah, he's looking to be in a great position here. With this wall going down, you've lost a bit of your production. You're going to have to reproduce those forges back at home. And meanwhile, hatcheries, macro hatcheries, like crazy back at home for Sulky. He's going to be getting into that layer, getting his Overlord speed here soon, and just mass drones popping out. Evolution Chamber is a great addition as well. Just start that upgrade. You're going to be ahead of the Protoss player for the foreseeable future, unless he goes for double Forge here in the main. Okay, he does have double Forge rolling, but he's going to have that upgrade about the same time as the Zerg upgrades start to finish. And I mean, that's a lot better than most situations for the Zerg, where you're going to be starting your upgrade much later than that +1 for Protoss, and a 4th base coming down here as well. Sulky going to go into a huge macro game from here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Saying he's going to be making so many drones. He probably already has like a good 35 to 40 drones at least. He's probably going to be going up to a good 50 or so as soon as possible. Maybe even going up all the way up to 55 to 60 within the next minute, maybe 2 minutes. He will be getting this 4th base mineral only online as well. A little bit extra production. The ideal production for Zerg is around 9 to 10 hatcheries at the sort of late game mark. So if you can get up there quick enough, it's very potent force of production that you can levy against the Protoss player and make it very difficult for them to be able to deal with you, whether or not that's you staying on lair tech and being battle Zerg by just making lots of lurkers and hydras, or if that's going straight into hive and getting tons of cracklings and defilers.
If I'm Sulky right now, I'm feeling very good about the position that I can make here at the 4th base. Dark Archon gets morphed at the natural. Just expecting maybe there could be a Mutalist transition. Since we're not going for a lot of Corsairs, then it's probably a good idea to get this Dark Archon, start that gaining some energy, just so it's ready in case we need to fight back against some Spire units here in the future. But the positioning, as I was saying, is just so good here on Polypoid. If we can get some lurkers on that high ground just at that 4th base, and a couple of lurkers over here at the 3rd as well on the high ground, it's so hard to break through any of these locations, and Sulky's going to easily be able to get up into hive with a huge drone count and really start to macro and take control of this map. While Muslo is just barely starting to push out here. He's actually losing Zealots right now, not able to fight even this small number of Hydras out here at the front. It's kind of crazy how much Sulky is doing here with this few number of Hydras, really outplaying Mulsol with these units. Just the first few Hydras that he's produced, Mulsol not even able to break through those. It's kind of rough.
Yeah, it's extremely rough, and he only has 1-1 upgrades, and he's not getting 2-2, so he's going to be behind in the upgrades very soon, and this is extremely rough for him. I don't know how he's going to be able to compete with Sulky in a few minutes. Sulky's going to have so many units. He's currently just trailing behind him in supply already, about to overtake him, so I don't see how Musa is going to have any chance against Sulky. This is like the kind of time for Protoss to like surge out onto the map around 11 minutes, 12 minutes, and put a lot of pressure on the Zerg, and Sulky just doesn't feel any pressure at all. He's even making a sunken colony with some lurkers up on the high ground and his mineral only. He knows there's like absolutely no way the Protoss player is going to break him right now. Now going to be switching into hive. He knows that he maybe needs to let the Protoss player take his 3rd base, so the reaction to that is going to be taking the hive now that we will allow the Protoss to take this 3rd base as a response. So he's kind of like crossing all of his T's and dotting his I's right now, and will not allow Mulsol to have any chance at getting ahead in this game. Currently ahead of him in supply by about 11 or so. So he's doing everything that he needs to kind of guarantee the win here, I would say. And it's definitely outclassing him. I don't see how Muso can compete. He's definitely a different caliber to someone like Seolki.
Even these, B+ ranked players have a very hard time competing with the A and the ASL contenders. The skill gap is kind of crazy, and it makes someone like Mulso look silly. But honestly, he's probably 2200 on ladder at least, maybe 2300. Very, very strong S rank player on the ladder, but when it comes to these tournaments, it's going to be very hard for him to take on someone like Seolki. And Seolki has everything set up here. He's got so many lurkers ready to go. The only reason that the Protoss is taking this third base is because Seolki is allowing it. And he's checking to see if there's any holes here, any gaps for Mulso. He's making sure that he's not able to take a fourth base here because that's not something that Seolki wants to allow him to do just yet.
Yeah, I kind of am admiring Seolki's setup right now. Like, he doesn't need this much of a fortified position, but it's almost like making it impossible for Muso to have any chance at coming back into this game. And Seolki's kind of showing you the textbook way of how to get more ahead when you already are ahead as Zerg. And just look at this, like a massive minefield of lurkers set up. He's going to be forced to come into this tight little choke here, which will then allow Seolki to pincer from both sides. Psionic Storm's going down, blanketing onto the Hydra and lurker position. But there's just so many Zerg units waiting in reserve. You can just send in a few, few small squads of Lings to kind of soak up some damage and pick off some of these Dragoons at the front for just a few mineral units. So really, Seolki's going to be trading at a cost-effective advantage almost no matter what Muso does here. And right now, even if Seolki wanted to, probably could go for a massive Doom drop into the main base of Muso and actually make that actually work for a change. Usually that sort of style wouldn't work in a map like this, but considering how far ahead he is, he could kind of do whatever he wants to win right now. But I really like the way he's being so methodical and patient and just bringing Muso to task here, waiting for him to come out of position a little bit and then challenging him. We see Seolki checking on the right-hand side of that, making sure there's no greedy expansion paths. He's identified the base going up at the 12 o'clock position. Is now sending out some skirmishing units to the northwest quadrant of the map, taking out some of those critical high Templar units, while now coming into middle only as well. Nice big flood of Zerglings trying to get on top of the cannons here, maybe open up this position as well. Just trying to maybe stretch Muso so far, and too thin as he snipes more and more High Templars from the rally point as well. Now Muso's multitasking is being stretched to the absolute limit right now, unable to keep up with someone of Seolki's caliber, storming his own zealots in a desperate panic to try and trade somewhat effectively against Seolki, but unable to do so soon.
Yeah, a bit of a multitask check here. Can you hold on multiple different groups of Lings, Hydras in different locations? It seems like Muso has passed this little test right here, but Seolki continues to grow. He's taking 6 o'clock. During all of this action, he's bringing up his lurkers now. Going to take a very aggressive forward position here and challenge Muso to try and break through. We've seen with that breakout a little earlier on, or with that attack a little earlier on from Muso, that Seolki's even committing to picking off the observers as much as possible, and I don't even see an observer here, so I don't know how he's going to be able to clear this. A nice Maelstrom on a bunch of these units, actually hitting these lurkers as well. Did you know that Maelstrom can hit underground units? I didn't know that.
I guess we just don't see it very much, Saiyan. But yeah, it definitely does work, and looks like Muso is just drying up right now, saying he has 111 supply to 137. He's finally gotten that 2 armor online for his units, but look, we already have 2-1 upgrades for Seolki. He's already caught up and gone ahead and upgrades himself now. When the Zerg's on even upgrades with the Protoss, that's not a good sign for Protoss at all. He's got 2-2 to Seolki's 2-1. That actually favors Zerg, considering the way that the game tends to play out. So right now, Seolki looking absolutely fantastic. Has completely crushed his mineral only, cut off the 12 o'clock as well. So there's no way defending that now. Can start to contain him with some dark swarmed lurkers at the choke point now, forcing him to just use more and more storms to try and break out from this position. But it's going to be too little too late, as now he tries to pincer from behind with some Dragoons to try and open up this high position. Finally, GG is called from Muso.
Good God. Seolki bringing out like 15-minute defiler there. to end that game. That is an incredibly fast Defiler play from him. Not feeling any pressure, he's able to just hit his build perfectly and take that win as smoothly as possible. Mulsoul gets eliminated. It's not the biggest deal here for the Protoss lineup. We've still got Stork and Mighty in the background. We're going to go into our next game here, though. The Terran squad is looking unreal strong right here, so we'll see who they decide to send out. That's coming right up. You want a little break, or?
No, I think we can more or less go straight into the second one. Kind of how I thought it would. Like, I thought that guy was going to get gobbled up.
Yeah. Let me just double check the recording, make sure it's all good.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice.
All right, next game.
Next game.
Cross off this name here.
아래쪽에 둘 다 넣었고요. 자리 재밌게 나왔고요. 김민철 선수 4시 기분 좋은 자리죠, 저보다. 이재호 선수도 기분 좋은 자리 8시 나왔습니다. 서로가 좀 약간 자기 자리에 만족을 할 것 같아요.
All right, into game number 2 now. And if you want an example of how a game can go when a Zerg is not tested at all, when they have a perfect build order, they're able to hit it exactly as intended. Go back and take a look at that game number 1. I don't think that Light is going to allow the same sort of thing here with Soul Key on Neo Sylphid. He's going to challenge him. He's going to force him to get out of his comfort zone and not hit that really quick, clean build like in game number 1. So here we go. First Overlord heading up here towards the north. He's going to be scouting in the wrong direction. But you know, nothing really crazy coming out of Light here to start out. He's not going to be throwing down a forward barracks. Just getting that wall in and playing safe here to start out.
Yeah, I can't say I blame him. Probably one of the safest ways to play on this map. Definitely sets you up for ability to cut some corners as Terran and min-max your build a little bit as well. We see the fairly fast hatchery from Sulky here, wanting to take the 11 hatch, get a very fast economy online. It's definitely in line with his style. He doesn't really ideally want to go for any kind of cheese play or any kind of aggressive style of play. He's a very macro-centric player. His biggest strength is powering up his economy as fast as possible and then going for big mutaling surrounds on the bio in the mid-game and just swallowing up these bio units as efficiently as possible with his mutaling groups and then taking the Terran to task in the very strong macro game in the late stages. So someone of Light's caliber, though, definitely going to be able to find weakness in the build order of Sulky eventually, so we'll be putting the pressure on him going forward as well, making it very difficult for Sulky to get away with the kind of shenanigans that he can usually out on the ladder against the lesser adept Terrans.
Ooh, this high drone play here, able to hit that SCV quite a bit, but the Marine does pop out to start protecting that. I'm always so impressed with the way these Zergs can control their drones in the early game. I've tried this on micro practice maps. It is insanely hard to get a drone to act like that. But Solki, he does it beautifully. It doesn't really gain him much of an advantage here, but he will be able to send that drone back home. A second barracks here in the main. So starting that right away, we're going to have quite a few Marines and most likely a quick stim timing here to try and throw Solki off. And I think you're right. Third in-base third hatchery should be coming down here for Solki soon. I would assume that's just kind of his style, getting out those extra lings. And Muta's just having more of a strong mid-game. It's a style that's become more popular recently. And I think Solki, one of the players to really popularize it.
Oh, absolutely. He does it so well, you know. It's just like it's like how Best is like known as the guy that's really good with Gateway Man and just like, you know, beating you into submission with his gorilla arm. Solki is the guy that just knows how to take you to task with a very strong standard Zerg Mutaling style play, and probably one of the best players to watch if you want to learn how to play more as a macro style Zerg. Just because of how well he executes it, he knows this inside and out. It's sometimes difficult when you're watching a professional play and gleaning exactly why they're doing the things that they're doing, because they might be doing it in response to a small mind game in the early stages. But if you take a large enough sample size, you'll get to realize exactly what they're trying to accomplish and understand the flow chart of decision making actually going on there, rather than just like looking at one game individually. We see now the academy finishing at like about 420, which is on time to being a very strong 2 racks timing from Light. If he wants to put the pressure on Solki, maybe force out at least 1 sunken, maybe 2. But with Solki's ability to produce lings right now, he probably will not force that large of a response from Solki. He may even try and get this SCV scout before it gets back home. Solki's really adamant on trying to get that before it gets back home as well, so not going to be able to quite catch that. Checks the front door as well, sees exactly how many Marines are. 4-minute 50 now, moving out with a sizable group of about 9 or so Marines with medics on the way as well. So right now wants to put on a lot of pressure on Solki, force out as much of a response as possible, as many lings and sunkens as he can get from this guy.
One sunken's going to start here, but not overcommitting to this. I think that it would be good for Solki if he could defeat this with just a group of lings. He might try to run by here. 2 firebats, though, in that choke, I mean, makes it completely impossible. But keeping these firebats back at home, it really increases the possibility of overwhelming this with lings. If you don't have firebats with this army, this Marine medic force becomes a lot less scary. Is he just going to pump a whole bunch of lings and try to overwhelm? Drones are popping out. Okay, here comes some lings, but I don't think this is quite enough to overwhelm. I guess he's going to just kind of defend here at the sunken colony and wait for those mutas to pop. 4 barracks going down for Light. I was wondering if we were going to see this. 4 barracks play has been really, really popular lately, and the follow-up is either straight on into Science Vessel, but more often it seems that Valkyrie is going to follow. You know, we'll see if he decides to go for that as well.
Yeah, I'm very likely to see the Valkyrie follow-up, I think, from Light. And the 4 racks, I think, is an absolute necessity, especially on Silphid. You need 4 racks to kind of put any kind of significant pressure out onto the map and to kind of guarantee being able to eventually beat back the Mutalisk Micro. Because if the player is good with his Mutalisk Micro, it's very difficult to build a sizable Bioball to be able to actually come out onto the map and do any kind of pressure. It looks at Solki now kind of being a little bit annoying, coming into the natural, killing off this turret while the Bioball's trying to get across the map to put on some pressure. So now a little bit of a bluff is being called, because Light's kind of saying, okay, well, kill some SCVs. I'm just going to go right to the sunken. I've only got 1 sunken right now. You're going to kind of relying on these small numbers of Mutaling to defend. But now Solki's trying to buy as much time as possible to swallow up this Bible as efficiently as he can. He's got a massive flood of lings going into a counterattack in the natural expansion, while the Mutas are dogging the Bible in the middle of the map, trying to keep track of them and also kill as many of them as they can as any time they try to move. So now we see Light keeping the Marines in a tight square formation to ward away the Mutas, while Solki's buying more and more time for more and more lings and mutas to catch out so he can finally swallow up this Bible as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, you can see he's Light is actually pulling the firebats away. He's made a mistake here, though, and the firebat actually goes to the front. Now the lings can take that really good engage here, and he's going to kill all of these Marines. He pulls back the Mutas as he noticed that the Marines were kind of focusing on them, killing them. So now he's going to go ahead and fly across the map with no bio ball out here. He can start to really harass this economy. He's going to get that medic for free as well. That's very nice. One good thing that's gone on for Light here is that actually he managed to kill that drone that was over there in the center right that was intended for killing or putting down that hatchery. So now that hatchery can come down. It's a little bit later though, as Solki here starts to harass the main. I definitely think we're going to see Valkyries now that that first bio group has been lost. Because it's going to be very hard for Light to move out if he doesn't have some of that splash damage here pretty soon. And immediately throwing down the Hydralisk Den. As Solki, this is standard Durg stuff here. As soon as you can eliminate that bio ball, that's transition time.
Yeah, it's very difficult for the Terran to basically deal with whatever the Zerg wants to do for the next few minutes of the game, which basically means you have to do something to counteract that and give yourself an earlier push timing, because otherwise he's going to be waiting forever to come out onto the map. And the only way to do that really is to go for Valkyries or something, because it allows you to come out onto the map much sooner and gives you point defense for your bio ball to actually be able to get some damage done at one of these expansions maybe. So it's kind of necessity for Light to try something like this and go for the Valkyries here. Although it does kind of play a little bit into Soki's hands. In an ideal world, Soki does want him to go Valkyries because he wants to transition into Lurkers now, which are very good to deal with bio Valkyrie. So right now this is kind of playing into Soki's hands, but there is time on Light's side right now. If he can somehow squeeze out this Bible onto the map and ward away these mutas and get closer and closer to Soki's production line, it's going to be very difficult for Soki to stabilize once he becomes cracked open. So if he can get across the map now, get some Valkyries into position to act as point defense, something could be done here for Light, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, first Valkyrie is coming out. He could get caught here. This first Valkyrie going to get one shot off, and one shot in exchange goes down on that Valkyrie. It takes it to about half HP, but it's still going to be very useful here. We've got Hydras out. Lurkers are being morphed, so he can morph Lurkers on that third base high ground. But here in the natural, he doesn't really have too much, just these 2 Lurker eggs. And the Sunken is going to get targeted down very, very quickly. Mutas are going to have to come in and try to connect with this. Nice connection there on that Valkyrie with the Scourge, but that's it. GG. Lurker's not able to bro here, and Light pushes through to the victory. Wow, that really fell apart quickly for Solki.
Yeah, this is what we were just basically discussing. If the Zerg can get cracked even just slightly, it all falls apart for him. And Light was able to get across the map with the bio ball preemptively before the Valkyries were ready to act as point defense. So because the Lurkers, the transition was just slightly too slow, there was nothing Solki could really do to defend that. But one thing that was so critical there was because he went for the 4-racks play, he was able to replenish enough bio ball to come out onto the map to do that. If he didn't have those 4-racks, there's no way he would have been able to push out onto the map like that. And he would have been able to put the pressure. The timing attack would never have been able to basically penetrate through quick enough to deal with that kind of death blow at the end there. So really well played from Light to identify exactly how he had to win against Soki there, because if he was just a little bit slower, saying there's no way he beat Soki there.
Yeah, and this is the sort of fine line that Terrans have been walking recently, and I think that's why the 4 racks has become so popular. Back in the day, it used to be always for that 5 racks. All the Terran players were going for 5 racks into the Science Vessel play, but then they didn't have any tools to work with earlier on to deal with the extra Lurkers. They had that huge mass of Marine, but they couldn't pull off one of these attacks. Now, with the 4 racks, you're having that mass Marine, and you've got that earlier attack by getting out that factory a little bit faster. The 4 racks play allows you to walk that fine line and break through positions that you wouldn't regularly be able to break through, and that's what he was able to do. 4 racks play nasty. Even though he did lose that Marine medic group, as you said, still able to push through and take out Solki. So impressive from Light. Can either of these Protoss players take down Light? I don't think so, but we're going to go into game number 3 and find out.
Nice.
All right.
We'll take a little break. Gonna vape.
Okay.
쪽으로 이 선수들의 발전을 보고 싶다라고 했는데 이광육 그 윤수철 선수는 꽤나 컸더라고요 그 이후로도.
잘하고 있고요.
아, 아.
예, 뭐 그거 탄력 받아가지고 막
그러니까.
그날 막 다 전승하고 막 그랬다고 하더라고요. 예.
그렇기 때문에 여기에 또 이 이광용 선수도 이 반열에 올라갈 수 있는 자격이나 능력치가 충분하다고 저는 그때 느꼈기 때문에 오늘도 경험 쌓는다라는 생각을 가지고 임하면 되겠습니다.
그쵸.
자, 준비 끝났습니다. 이재호 선수와 이광용 선수가 다시 만났습니다. 그곳은 템페스트입니다. 자, KCM 종족 최강전 2023 세 번째 시즌 7주차 3경기. 페널티레이스는 8주로 구성이 되어 있습니다.
예, 그렇습니다. 경기가 굉장히 치열할.
Alright, guys. We're going to take a little intermission. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes for the next game between Light and Mighty. Dude, Light's macro is so insane.
Yeah, hello?
Hey, I'm just heating up my vape now. What's up?
Alright.
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm just struggling to figure out like what was the problem there for Solki. I mean, what did he actually do wrong? I feel like he swallowed up the bile ball and then he had good micro against the Marines and it's like he's just unstoppable.
Light just play the one thing that is so tricky for playing against a good, because here's the thing, is that a good Zerg abuses a good Terran easily because of their micro, and they turn these glass cannon units and they get like such good value with their muters and lings that most Terrans can't deal with that. But there reaches a point where the Terran player learns enough in knowledge that they can then start to turn the tables and abuse the Zerg, because they know how to, all the timings that a Zerg needs to achieve and how to best abuse them. That's what Light's really good at doing. That's why Light's dominating these players, because he understands how to slip into these pockets of timings to really fuck with them that other Terrans can't quite exploit, so the Zergs aren't as good adept at dealing with that kind of timing.
I wonder if there's like a micro adjustment that can be made for Solki in a game like that. Something like making the Hydra Den before like swallowing up the bile ball. You know, it's 100 minerals, 50 gas.
Right,
you
but
make that.
You're right, but there's one thing you've not considered, is that Light's going to scout the timing of that Hydra Den and identify how to adjust his timing as well, relative to when those lurk eggs would be hatching.
But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of the Zergs, what they'll do is they kill the bile ball, then they make the Hydra Den, because they think like, okay, I don't have enough money to make Lurker and have enough Muta to actually win that fight, right? So I win the fight, then I make the Hydra Den, and then the Lurkers should be ready by the time Terran moves across the map again. But if you just make the Den, when you swallow up the Marine Medic, you immediately hit that Lurker button, and you just get that extra, like, whatever, 20 seconds or something, whatever, however long it takes to build the Hydra Den. That's like, you know what, it messes up the timing for the Terran, the next move out from the Terran, you know what I mean? Because obviously Light, like, he's really adept at going like, okay, you just killed my Bio Ball, you started a Hydra Den, I have X number of minutes before you have your Lurkers out, right? But if you already have the Hydra Den, and it's not that expensive, waiting in the wings, the moment you have that advantage, you hit the Lurker upgrade. I don't know, just, I'm thinking about, usually it's not massive changes that are going to make the difference in these matchups. They're so, like, well thought out and so, like, well kind of timed, you know what I mean? So a lot of times it's just like a micro adjustment, like, okay, I'm just gonna build this building a little earlier and not use it until I need it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas right now everyone's building the Hydra Den when they need it, and then starting the upgrade as soon as it's done. Maybe you need to start that building a little earlier. It's not that expensive, you know what I mean?
No, I feel you. And sometimes, yeah, it will be. This is the thing, is that, and Light is exploiting these timings in a micro sense as well, like in a very small micro window. So yes, by making small micro adjustments, you can then counteract that, right? But honestly, it's tough. Like a really good Terran like Light as Zerg, it's hard to truly accurately assess the timing you would have to hit. You know what I mean? Like, Sulky's probably feeling pretty safe in this situation, but he's not. It's going to be very, very hard for him to be astute enough to accurately assess the exact adjustment that he needs to make in any given situation. Does that make sense? But I get what you mean. Maybe he could just make that adjustment assuming that I just don't know if he can. He might not want to do that because he might want to be able to be flexible enough to know that sometimes he can make a few extra mutas instead of going for the early Lurkers and whatever else.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just looking at the time here. Hydraless Den only takes 25 seconds to make. It's pretty quick,
Yeah, that's
but
quick.
25 seconds can be a lot when you're dealing with the
It depends entirely on how his muta production is. If he wants to maintain muta production for whatever reason, either he's losing them because of trades, or he needs them because he needs map control, or whatever. Like, if he needs mutas, then there's maybe a situation where he can't physically make that Hydra Den any earlier because he needs to maintain muta production, or he dies anyway. So there will be some situations where he can't even make the adjustment, even if he wants to.
Right.
So there's a bit of a nuance to that, right? How well he trades with the bio in the early game will definitely change this outcome a lot. But in the situation where things are going so well for him that he has the surplus gas because he doesn't need to replace mutas, you could then argue, well, the game's gone so well for him that the timing doesn't need to be adjusted as well. So it's kind of like a weird situation.
Yeah, this is beyond my expertise.
It's not easy stuff to think about. The theory craft of it is pretty complicated.
For sure. All right, we've got Mighty versus Light next. You ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Alright, hopping into Mighty versus Light here in game number 3. I'm still puzzling over that last game and what Sulky could have done differently to give himself a chance there. It seemed like Light played absolutely perfectly, able to abuse one of the strongest Zerg players in the world on his chosen strategy, the best strategy that he's got, really, which is that 3-hatch Mutalist play. And I mean, I thought it looked like he was doing very, very well in the early game. He still managed to get taken out. I don't think that Mighty stands a chance here against him. It's looking so good.
Yeah, I don't think Mighty has a very high chance of winning against Light, to be fair. But Mighty is certainly no Mulso. I also want to point this out. Mighty is a very respectable player. He's an amateur player, but he's a respectable player. He's certainly not on Light's caliber. I just want to also make that abundantly clear. Though he is, I would say, if Mulso was a 3% chance of beating Light, I would say Mighty is a 23.7% chance of beating Light, if that makes any sense. He's got a much higher bracket of percentage chance of taking down someone of Light's caliber.
I think I'll agree with you there. 23.7 sounds about right. Mighty is going to go there for a Nexus first here, kind of increasing his odds a little bit by going for a more aggressive economic build. And I think Light is... Oh, he's not going to respond, or he's not going to get a gases fast expand. That's not good for Light, actually. This is looking a little better for our boy Mighty here. With the cross map, Nexus first against an earlier factory. The build order win here for sure is going to help him out.
Yeah, this map is interesting as well because it does kind of encourage a very greedy way of playing. I wonder if this... But I also think someone of Light's ability will probably not want to be greedy. As we see, he's going for this just very standard fast factory, not going for any kind of bunker expand to try and take advantage of the fact that this ramp is so close to defend on this high ground. So basically any kind of normal defenses you would make anyway have way higher value because of this high ground expansion. So greedy plays tend to be more rewarded. And what we see here is a greedy play from Mighty, which makes sense, but Light instead is gone for this very standard, just one factory, kind of like fake double kind of push way of playing. He's taken 2 off of gas, so he's definitely not going to be wanting to make a second factory or anything like yeah, I don't really understand this fully from Light. I think it's all we can say for sure is that Light is extremely confident in his ability to take down Mighty and wants to take absolutely no risk whatsoever in doing any kind of greedy play, even though I would say it's very safe to do so.
Yeah, that's that could be a problem here, you know, with that supreme confidence from Light. Wow, he's actually going to pull a ton of SCVs here and try to kill this Nexus. I don't know if this is going to work, but you know, Mighty's taken every single liberty imaginable here. He's gone for that single gateway and right into the core. He's building a Dragoon right now, and the second gateway's on the way, but it's not going to be in time. I hope we have something coming up here at the front. Hopefully a shield battery here being built. We're going to be fighting up onto the high ground, but this is a ton of SCVs being brought forward. Let's see how this goes. Gonna try and break this. How can he micro against this number of SCVs? Gonna have to pull the probes here. Is he gonna just give up the Nexus, or is he gonna actually fight this? Looks like the probes just going after some of the SCVs. He's gonna bring the probes forward now, losing a couple of them already. And now the probes are gonna be pulled back. I think that Mulsil kind of walked the line there a little bit rough for himself, making it a little hard for himself here, trying to run up the ramp with the Dragoon. That's not good either. Pulling the probes once again. You either just give up the Nexus or you fight with the probes. You can't do both, I think, in this situation.
Yeah, he's lost so many probes already. This has gone absolutely amazingly. Such a successful attack for Light. I can't even believe it. The micro in that fight was exceptional. The way he was using his SCVs to target fire individual probes was insane. The amount of probes he killed with his SCVs was absolutely nuts. I'm blown away by the micro of Light. It just shows like how different of a level of player he is from someone like Mighty, who is still in the sort of amateur range of players. A very, very, very exceptionally good player, but nowhere near of the same kind of ilk as someone like Light. Now getting a little run by with these 4 Dragoons, though. This is a dangerous number of Dragoons. If you can somehow get a good angle on this bunker to start sieging it down very quickly, could be a little bit problematic for Light. Going to be unloading that bunker and trying to box in these Dragoons by laying down some spider mines. Gets one of these mines connected connections, but not able to get the other one on those remaining Dragoons. So now 3 Dragoons still remaining on the high ground, going to be able to snipe down this bunker before the tank gets into position. This could be a little bit of a frustrating situation for Light, but he's still in a great position here. Going to be unloading the bunker instead, not allowing any kind of advantage to Mighty now, just getting on top of these Dragoons very quickly, taking out 2 of them in short order. They were on no love HP for him to bully them back. Beautiful play from Light, maybe getting the full trade off on this. Perfectly calculated, but needs to be careful not to lose this tank for free here. Does get the Dragoon before losing the tank. He will eventually lose this tank to the dive from Mighty, but great calculations from Light there, understanding exactly how many shots were going to be fired from both sides of the Dragoons and the tanks to be able to do a good calculation on maintaining the lead right now, and is able to get into the main base eventually with this Vulture as well after laying down the mine, but not able to get into the main mineral line because of being sniped by the Dragoon. But it's actually insane play from both players here right now.
Yeah, this is so good for Light here. He's done a fantastic job of punishing this Nexus first, and Mighty, he has nobody to blame but himself for going for such a greedy follow-up to that early Nexus. He didn't have to go for a play like this. He didn't have to go for just one gate right into Dragoon. He could have gone for a Forge. I think that Forge on high, or Cannon on high ground here, just kills everything, any sort of bust towards this Nexus. But he tried to get away with everything under the sun, and Light punished him very successfully for that. The probe count is still pretty decent here, but it's nowhere near what it should be. If he had just pulled away and let this Nexus die, I think he would have been in a much better position. But Light's already got his command center up, and there's no real probe advantage here for Mighty anymore.
Yeah, I don't think that Mighty's going to be able to get any kind of edge over Light for the foreseeable future, say. And I think Light's basically leveraged himself into a phenomenal position. He's had this second base online and operational for quite some time. We still don't have this Nexus finished up for Mighty, so going to be struggling to ramp up in his production is Mighty in this game, while Light's going to be just having a dream and just sitting back and macroing like an absolute powerhouse. Has a Vulture skirting around the edge of the map now, laying some mines and some key locations to scout for the third base. Timing of this Protoss player here is also ready to dive into the natural, maybe get some damage in as well. There is some Dragoons there to prevent that from happening, but he sees that the Protoss player is basically just maintaining Dragoon production at this time while expanding, so he is kind of in line to deal with that no matter what. If he wants to, he can now do a little move out timing of like 4 to 5 siege tanks and put some pressure on this third base. Timing of the Protoss player. Mighty, though, has been producing Dragoons more or less non-stop, so definitely has a chance at defending this and maybe flipping the script on Light just a little bit and taking out some of these siege tanks. But would have to have phenomenal Dragoon micro. I don't think he's going to get into position quick enough to deal with these tanks on the high ground, this little middle peninsula here. It's a very strong position for Terran to get into. Mighty knows it's a very dangerous spot. He's trying to get around the side here with his Dragoons, but there's some mines being laid to slow down their efforts while the tanks get into position at his third base. Already too slow is Mighty in dealing with this, and now Light Up set up in his position to start hammering down on this Nexus to force a cancel, while the Dragoons coming from the flank from behind. But the tanks, though, can just shuffle back and try and get the advantageous position as the Vultures come in from the right-hand side now, can lay down a lot of fire with these fragmentation grenades, softening up the shields of these Dragoons, now sieging up and unable to take his third base, as Mighty saying.
Yeah, Mighty is being just stifled in this game. Light a little bit too strong here. I really got to go back to that early game. The decision making here from Mighty, I thought it was good to start with the Nexus first, but not respecting his opponent here, not respecting Light's prowess. He's going to eat another big mine shot. Oh my god, he's eaten so many mines this game. It's kind of crazy. Just keeps losing probes now and here in the natural and will tap out. Definitely understandable. He was in an untenable position there. Light takes down that game. Not at all surprising, but a very overwhelming performance here from Light. Okay.
Nice. I wanted you to have last word on that. It's good that you got in.
Straight into the next one?
Yeah.
풀을 짓기 시작하고 있는 이재호 선수 맵은 다크 오리진. 그래서 큰 입구 아니 작은 입구를 좀 막으면서 상대한테 물음표를 좀 강제시키겠다는데 여기서 SCB가 베럭스를 지으면서 혹은 가스를 지으면서 그러니까 베럭도 나는 성원 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다. 주차 이제 페네트레이스도 어느덧
마무리가 한 주 남아 있습니다. 그리고 오늘 경기는 결승에 누가 먼저 가느냐, 누가 나중에 가느냐, 준결승 펼치고 이런 것들이 여러 가지가 걸려 있습니다.
Adios, Mighty. And rip to this Protoss squad. My goodness. Absolutely dominated. Looks like Light going to be taking on Soma here in game number 4. Dark Origin going to be the map. How do you feel about this map in TVZ?
You know, I'm not sold on it. I don't really like the precarious nature of this wide open middle. It just suits mech switches so favorably, and the way the side bases are set up, I think that's a little bit daunting for Zerg as well. I think Zerg has quite a few options on this map for if going for, say, a Hydra Lurker Ling style with Defiler support, trying to make use of the Hydralist cost-effective value when combined with Plague and Swarm would definitely be potent on this map. But the one thing that really concerns me is just how open up this middle can be, and hard for Zerg to deal with that once Terran has control of it. So if the Terran player is able to do a switch into mech, I don't see how Zerg has much counterplay in the later game phases. So overall, I would say it's a tough map for Zerg to play on. So for that reason, I'm not too keen on it as a Zerg player. A little bit of bias there, but to watch it as an observer, definitely an interesting map to behold, I would say. So, and I definitely like it.
I think the changes that have been made to this map recently have made it a little bit better for the Zerg, but I definitely agree with you. Now we've got that top right base and the bottom left base, which are on high ground. It makes it a little easier to hold, but this is a problem that we often have with two-player maps, is that a lot of them have far away difficult bases to take with not very defendable positions for the Zerg player. But this one's been cleaned up a little bit. It makes it a little easier, but yeah, there's still those ever-present two-base player, or those two-player map concerns. And wow, look at this.
Whoa.
Very, very strange here. We're going to have a proxied factory down here in the very far bottom left. I guess he's going to try and slip a vulture by the natural, or will he try to float this factory? Maybe he builds a vulture here, tries to run past the sunken colony when it gets reduced, and then floats into the back afterwards, trying to make a secondary vulture in the back. He's actually faking a bunker rush right now. This is not a huge commitment. Just one Marine is coming across the map, but he's trying to bait Soma to actually send out a bunch of drones, and he's not really taking the bait right now, just sending 2 only drones here to the front to try and push this away, and instant cancel there. You can see it was an absolute fake. Didn't accomplish what it was meant to do, but maybe it slowed down this sunken colony enough. Yeah, we're seeing it being thrown down at 320. I think this vulture can slip by. What do you think?
It can. 323 would have countered the vulture if it was made from the main base of Light here, but there might be enough of a rush distance that, because here's the thing, right? If he went around the long way, yes, but he's going to hop it over the minerals with the SEV, Saiyan. So he's going to get in there very quickly. If the Lings can get a block on it, though, they'd be difficult. Oh, he failed it the first time, though. If he can just get in there quick enough, he can maybe prevent this from transpiring at all. But Light's having some trouble with his execution now. Oh, he sees a glimmer of the Lings in the distance, so he knows there's going to be something waiting for him. Here comes the vulture now. He's going to get in his Lings into position to try and trap it. Not able to get the catch on it, though. Light going to be able to give into the main base with that vulture, it looks like, and able to start putting some shots on these units. Meanwhile, there's a big drone pull from Soma trying to box in this little vulture here with, oh, look at these football players, American football players boxing in. They says, oh, not quite going to get it though. Slits past the defensive line. Does this vulture now? Light going to put some fragmentation grenades on these Zerglings and now go to town on these drones. Meanwhile, it's transitioning into a 2-port Wraith play. Going to be building lots of Wraiths to come and just wreck Soma if Soma can't stabilize against these vultures. He knows the situation right now. Does Soma though is throwing down a Hydralisk Den right now to try and build some units that deal with this follow-up as well, because he's not maybe going to have any chance at dealing with this. I don't think he actually built a Hydra Den. I think he's just building a Spire. I don't think he's going to be able to hold this if he relies on only the Spire to defend against these Wraiths. I think even if he holds against the Vultures here, if he hasn't thrown down a Hydralisk Den, he's not going to be able to deal with the Wraith follow-up, I don't feel like. I think Soma might be in real trouble here, Saiyan.
Soma in so much trouble right now. He's lost a ton of drones. he just hasn't been able to hit his build. He's going to lose a Overlord as well, so will he even be able to produce a pair of Scourge when that Spire is done? I don't think so, because it's not finished yet, and we are completely supply blocked. This is terrible, terrible for Soma. He's got a burrow at least, so he can avoid these kills on these drones in the natural. But oh, he did manage to get a few mutas out here, so that is very, very good news for Soma. I thought he was going to be waiting for an Overlord before being able to produce anything. But he's getting a moving shot here on some of these. He's not able to get it any further. I thought he was going to get at least one Wraith there, but he's just not quite able to. Just not quite able to get that. Cloaking's going to come up here soon as well, so you can't stick around for long with these few mutas. You got to get out of here ASAP. We've got a burrowed Ling here just to make sure that he sees whenever a Vulture slips over, but that Vulture's going to get in here now, and the mutas should be able to respond. Where are they? There we go. He can't be losing any more drones to this. It would be devastating to lose even one more drone to this this Vulture attack. Looks like he's going to burrow that drone. Oh, he keeps it alive. Thank goodness.
Yeah, what happened there is if you borrow the drone too soon, the attack of the fragmentation grenade will actually make it unburrow. So if you borrow it actually at the wrong time, it will then become unburrowed and vulnerable once more. So I'll still be very careful when you actually execute that borrow order as well, because it can just be getting shot after the fact and then popping right back up again, which we saw there. Yeah, Soma kind of avoided disaster though, right? He got those initial 3 mutas out to not just die straight up. I feel like if he had lost the Overlord without building those mutas, he would just die, I think, there, because he would have taken too much economic damage. Instead, now we see a situation where we're going up to 6 Wraiths with Cloak, so it's going to be a game of micro right now as he comes into the natural expansion to try and kill some of these drones and snipe some of these Overlords. Looks like Soma, though, getting right on top of these Wraiths from the northern flank, kills one of the Wraiths instantly, takes another down to low HP as well. So now it looks like Light's going to want to be backing away from that, understands that that's a little bit of a potent force that Soma's got right there, so he needs to get a few more Wraiths out, maybe even go back and repair some of these Wraiths before going out again. So right now I would say Soma's weathered the storm for the time being.
Yeah, and all of that, what Soma just did there was completely enabled by these burrowed Lings out on the map. They spotted where the Wraiths were, and so not able to get the element of surprise, and Soma able to send his Overlords forward at the proper moment, bring his Mutalisk to bear there, and fight back against this 2-port Wraith play. A lot of turrets being built now because Light is expecting a big counterattack coming here soon, but Soma's actually going to take a 3rd base right now.
Yeah, this is actually really good for Soma because Light wants him to attack right now. But he's not going to. He's just happy to just macro up a little bit and take his own expansion. He understands Light's not expanded right now. Light's only just now taking his expansion, and we're taking our 3rd as Soma. So Soma's probably thinking to himself, I'm kind of lined up with you nicely here, so I'm kind of comfortable with this game state. So for the time being, Soma's just going to be comfortable to sit on his supply lead and just macro up from here on out, I would say. And that doesn't really play into Light's hands at all. Light's going to want to maybe go out onto the map with these Wraiths soon and make something happen. But right now, Soma's going to be one of the aggressor and comes into the main base trying to open up this position by threatening the turret. Does get the repair in time though, so not able to quite accomplish that. But looks like all these zoning turrets being set up from Light. He understands that right now a big play from Soma can come in, and Soma does want to come in and try and punish his expansion attempt. Does get on top of these Wraiths with some Scourge to try and zone them back while the Mutaglaives start to bounce between these big pack of Wraiths, like 10, 11 or so Wraiths here initially, but now whittled down to only 7 Wraiths remaining, but only 6 for Mutas for Soma on the exit. Does manage to get that turret, but not before losing a lot of HP and the extra mutas to these Wraiths. Right now, Soma's losing this air battle against Light, but Light's forces are not regenerating any HP and will eventually be all whittled down to a nub. Has got red HP on almost all of these Wraiths, but not quite enough mutas to finish the job on these Wraiths either. So this is actually going really favored in Light's side. Look at all these Wraiths with red HP, just barely managing to win this fight as Light.
Just a couple of missed glaive shots there are the difference maker for Soma versus Light here. He was almost able to kill a bunch of those Wraiths, but you could see the micro there a little bit too strong. Something lacking for Soma as well. He was just not getting the efficient shots off. It's part of you know, not having slow overlords anymore is he can't micro quite as well with these mutas. And I think if we lose all of these, we've got to consider moving back here from Soma, because if we lose all of these mutas, then we're going to lose so many overlords. It's just going to be game over. There's like 8 overlords here, and they can all be tracked down very, very quickly if he suddenly overwhelms. A third gas is up now and starting to run here for Soma. I think he needs to back off and look towards the next stage of this game, because for the most part, Light has held, and he is going to be microing super heavily against these mutas, pushing them back with the turrets and the Marines now. The next stage of the game has begun here for Light. He's going to get vessels out as well. So yeah, we really need to back off. A 4th base going to come up here for Soma immediately. Are we going to have that transition though? Where are the lurkers?
Yeah, I don't know where the lurkers are. I think actually Soma sniped the first vessel with a pair of Scourge. I think that's Light's second vessel actually. So now a little bit on the ropes is Light, not able to have that really fast irradiate timing to ward off these mutas that he needs. So now Soma coming to the main base, taking some big mutaglyph swipes at this mineral line, hampering the economic prowess of Light by reducing those SCV count. Now going to be retreating out of there. Doesn't want to be engaging too long, because the race do have a lot more range than these mutas with their missiles, their Gemini missiles. So need to be very careful against those race. And with good micro, the race will basically always beat the mutas. So Soma needs to be very careful in how he picks and chooses these fights with the Terran player, because if he does pick the fight at the wrong time, he will just lose all of his mutas for free, because the race will just chase the mutas down and kill them so easily. Big irradiate coming down, not able to split it quite as efficiently as he'd want to, and because it took him so long to split, the race took a lot of extra shots in. Meanwhile, all of that happened. I would say that's not a bad split from Soma, but it definitely was a big win for Light there. But I would say overall, I would favor Soma's position still in this game, despite some good trades from Light.
Yeah, taking advantage of the irradiate like that is a really good play. You can't be microing your mutas while you're trying to split and get the irradiated muta out of there. So just flying forward, taking a bunch of pot shots there. Light able to do a lot of damage with very few wraiths now still remaining. He's kind of switching out of this tech. He's not really continuing to build wraiths here. So his wraith number is very low. He's going to start to rely on primarily Marines and of course these vessels for the defense. But Soma's starting to crack in here. He's getting some damage going. He doesn't have a transition from here, so his Mutilus count is very, very high right now. And he's starting to take over the barracks and production area. Losing some of these mutas out here on the map, these reinforcing mutas, is a bit painful. Another irradiate goes down, but Soma really taking over this area. Marines are going to have to come back here. They don't have medic support yet, though, and I don't think they have range or stim either. So it's very difficult for them to get in here and actually prevent this or to kill this. There we go. We've got stim now. The overlords are going to have to fall back. A lot of them are going to fall, and Soma pushed away. His mutas are incredibly bruised and damaged. Do we have a transition from him? Where is that Hydralisk Den?
Well, he probably... He might even try and go for a Hydra Guardian play, but I think now he's making a Hydralisk Den. I think now he's finally done it. But he could have maybe gone for a Hydra Guardian play as well. Didn't necessarily have to go for the Hydra Den. Could have gone for Guardians. But yeah, it does make sense for him to finally transition. It's kind of crazy though. He's really tried to finish the game, but been unable to do so. Light's done a pretty stellar job of defending, throwing down more and more turrets, doing a great job of getting maximum value with his irradiates when he has had them available. Soma coming in again in the natural expansion and opening up this position once more. Takes out the turret. Another irradiate goes down. Pretty good split from Soma, but enough damage is being done to these mutas to ward them away for the time being. So I would say overall this is looking pretty good for Soma in the sense that he's kept Light pretty reasonably favored with him on supply. He's been ahead in supply this entire time more or less. Only just now is Light starting to come out a little bit ahead on supply. As Soma comes into this natural expansion trying to micro down more and more of these Marines with these mutaglyph bounces, but unfortunately taking more and more damage. Finally another good split from these mutas, going to maybe get a little bit of trade cost efficient value, but right now Soma's slowly in a little bit of trouble here if he doesn't transition soon. I think he's doing a great enough job of reducing the bio count of Light that maybe there's some hope for him though. He's killed so many of these Marines with these mutas. Even though he's been trading at a bit of a deficit here, he has reduced a lot of the infantry of the Terran player, making it very difficult for him to come out onto the map. And Soma's biggest weakness right now is how open his position is. So he needs to keep the Terran back at all costs. Like, Soma's best form of defense right now is offense. And the only way he can have a chance at winning this game is by keeping Light on the back foot.
Light has been on the back foot nearly this entire game, aside from that first attack. Oh, he gets a vessel. Very nicely done there. Did cost him quite a few Scourge, but absolutely worth it to reduce the number of irradiates that are going to be out here. Now, I'm afraid for Soma, man. He does not have a big Mutalisk count anymore, and there's still irradiates here, and we don't have even a single Lurker morphed yet. These Marines are coming across the map with +2 finished already. +2 is done. These Hydras are going to stand no chance at all standing against these. He's going to come forward, try to block, I guess. But the Lurker eggs are not going to completely block this. Oh, he's trying to move just a slight bit over to the side and block. Trying to buy any time possible. But there's 3 ramps here to walk across. Light is going to go down towards that bottom ramp, try to make it across there. Come over here towards the natural and find a better position. This is a desperation play for Soma if I've ever seen one. And the Lurkers are going to be able to morph, but can they hold their ground? Can they actually fight against this number of Marine here? It's going to be very tough. He's not going to be able to jump on top of this, I think, because the damage is so high from these +2 Marines. They're going to be ripping these apart. The irradiates coming down here are crushing it, and he splits and runs forward. A lot of these Lurkers are going to die very quickly. D-Matrix goes down as well, but the Lurker spines are kind of insane, killing all but 3 Marines. Pretty ridiculous hold here from Soma. Well done. Keeps 4 bases alive. And he's still on that 4 gas, so there's still a really good chance here for Soma.
Wow, you were talking before with me saying about micro adjustments and what could someone like Sulky do to weather the storm against someone of like Light's ability coming in like he did on that Sylphid map. But those are the kind of micro adjustments that you need to do. Say like he understood that the only way he could physically hold that is if he somehow got the Lurkers eggs onto the bridges to prevent the timing of the attack because the Sunkers weren't finished. And he just barely managed to prevent Light coming across the bridge and just barely managed to get those Lurkers done in time to try and engage that army, and also did some manual spine targeting with those Lurkers as well to make sure that the Defense Matrix Marine didn't disrupt the AI too much on his Lurkers, and still got great trades. Like Soma is doing a lot with a little right now, buying a lot of time with these little finesse plays here, really slowing down the onslaught of Light and making it as frustrating as possible for him to come in and to try and bust open his position, meanwhile teching up all the way to Hive, I imagine, and building more and more Lurkers in the meantime to try and build up a sizable force to be able to weather the storm right now while taking advantage of this 4 gas lead. So far, really exceptional play from Soma. Even maybe getting this Science Vessel with these Hydras, doesn't quite manage to get it down to 11 HP, just managed to sneak that away. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that he's managed to get 4 gases this early on and held on to them. This is a really hard map to do this on, Saiyan.
Very difficult to do this on this map. He's done a great job so far. The Marines are still pushing forward, though, and getting those irradiates down means the Lurker number is going to be reduced quite heavily. It seems like Soma, in kind of a desperation mode, going for a Hydra and trying to get that Defiler out, but the natural is being broken here. He didn't have any Lurkers over here at this sunken colony wall, and Light going to get in here is going to kill every single drone, and that could be lights out for Soma. He did an amazing job defending in every location, but the natural does get broken through, and a counterattack here, I doubt it's going to be successful. We've only got a few Lurkers and a few Lings here. The Lurkers are getting ripped apart. The Marine numbers coming down this ramp should be able to handle this, although the entire force of Light is actually heading back home to help defend. Damn! It was such a close match here. Soma, I thought he was going to be able to hold on, but it seems like Light's just outdone him. Even after starting out with this kind of crazy Wraith play and not having it be that effective, he still managed to get himself into a great position here with 3 bases now and a ton of Science Vessels out on the map.
Yeah, Light's been let out of his cage, and it looks like it's soon going to be Light's out for Soma too. Really unfortunate for Soma here. Fell apart right at the crucial moment when he could have just stabilized, get these Defiler tech out, and have a really cost-efficient army of those Hydralisks and Defilers to fight Light back. He is, though, taking out this third base location with these Hydras, preventing any form of mining at this position. But right now, it's a really untenable position for him because he can't quite defend this natural expansion and retake it without Defiler support. There's a small possibility that maybe he could sandwich in this Terran army as it came into his main base and maybe somehow win the game from there, but there's just no Defiler support. There's no huge army supply to really fight with right now, so it looks like he's just going to get absolutely crushed by this onslaught of Ghost Rivals gunning down all of his units. GG is called from Soma. Wow, Light is absolutely on fire.
All right, you want a little break?
Yeah, take a little break. Only a little one.
근데 지금 저는 좀 걱정되는 게 다음 주차가 마지막 그 정규 시즌이잖아요. 그러고 있었어요. 아직 많이 남은 노장, 약간 노장 요새 노장 라인에.
How you doing?
Good, good. I'm a little tired as usual, but it's all good. Trying to put my words together best I can.
We got Space Invader next. This could be a crazy good game, though. Who knows? Still kind of like.
On this map, yeah, it could be kind of wild.
I would love to see Stalker carries. I want to see like at least a 20-25 minute game, maybe 30-minute game where there's carriers that's back and forth a bit. It's gonna be really tough to make carriers work on this map. Maybe, I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, how you feeling? You ready?
All right, good to go.
Let's do it, Saiyan. Let's get it.
저는 노장이라는 느낌보다는 노련하다라는 느낌이 더 어울리는 선수라고 생각을 합니다.
Okay, Light on a streak here. Looking poised to get an all kill. It's already taken out Soul Key, Mighty, and Selma. Will he be able to take down Stork here on Invader? It's a map that we've seen a little bit, but not enough to form a full opinion about Terran versus Protoss here. It's still got to be worked out a little bit more by these players, but we have seen some interesting games so far. I think it's a interesting take, a decent take on a two-player map. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like it. I kind of do really like the sort of like Space Invader aesthetic as well. Definitely easy on the eye and looks pretty cool. I am curious if we see the King of Silver pull out the carriers on this map eventually. Would love to see the Dinosaur Protoss go for his like namesake style. It looks like we will be seeing, as you should be seeing on a two-player map, the gas steel play from him. But look at this, we're going to be seeing that thing where we're going to be seeing another second barracks being made out onto the 12 o'clock position here from Light. So he's going to be going for 2 racks and to try and catch. He did this to Mini, I believe, right? Was that Royal did that to Mini, or was this Light that did this to Mini? Do you remember that game?
I can't remember. Sorry. I saw that Light was checking actually in the center right for like a couple of barracks on high ground there, making sure that he wasn't going to be rushed. Maybe that's popular on this map right now. I'm not sure, but he's going to have a lot of Marines out here. He's going to be putting on a ton of pressure to Stork. Going to be up to Stork to defend this properly, sending a Zealot across the map. This can still go badly for Light. And you know what? Actually, I am remembering that game now. Was it Bisu who held it off?
Bisu.
Or was Bisu. I can't remember if it was Light or Royal, but it really looked like a strong play, but Bisu with his micro able to take that to just shut it down. I don't know if Stork has that level of control though.
Yeah, and maybe not even that level of game sense to fully identify it either. We'll have to, that remains to be seen. What we're going to see here is like a constant Marine production from this main barracks, which is very standard and doesn't look very suspicious to Stork at all. But getting some of these Marines as well is a big deal for Stork, so that might help him. If he gets just 1 or 2 of these Marines, it's going to help him out a lot. The big issue, though, is that he won't be necessarily prepared for the second barracks that's just constantly producing Marines out of the 12 o'clock position. Eventually, he's going to be sending a sizable force of infantry to the natural expansion of Stork, and those Marines can really bully the rangeless goons that will be probably there to defend at that time. So it will be very difficult for Stork to adjust and defend that without shield batteries and maybe some pulled probes and what have you. So does need to identify this. And now we see the Marines moving out already. 3 Marines and SCV seems to be the magic number right now. It's going to try and come in here, maybe build a bunker right on top of this area as soon as possible to make it a very hard nut for Stork to crack here. But there is a couple of Zealots on the way back home to try and deal with this. Maybe could get on top of this quickly enough. There is a Zealot coming from both sides. Maybe they can kill enough of these Marines to maybe delay this from going up. It's going to be tough though. Beautiful micro from Light, getting as much damage on that Zealot as possible. It does barely manage to finish this bunker, but the big beautiful probe surround from Stork not allowing these Marines to come inside this bunker. So far this could go either way, but right now this is really favoring Stork because he's really shut down this play and put down a lot of damage onto this bunker as well. So this bunker is going down. Here come the boys. 11 SCVs being pulled from the main middle line of Light across the map right now. It's a little bit of a long rush distance, but eventually he will get here and put a lot of pressure onto Stork with this beautiful probe pull, forcing back the big Marine ball in the middle of the map all the way to the center. You will also see these SCV train coming in. Needs to be careful. Now here come the drill. The SCVs now starting to drill through these probes and Zealots. One of the Zealots is isolated, getting bullied by these SCVs, and the Marines gunning down as much as they can. Looks like Light's coming out ahead on that trade at the moment. There is a bunker still underway outside the natural of Stork, but he's not quite able to finish that just now. Is starting to put down building time on that as the SCV train comes in, now bullying back these the Zealot and probes all the way to the natural expansion area. Looks like Light is doing a great job of punishing Stork's positional issues here right now, and I think that Light's going to come out ahead of this. So
the overall SCV control just a little bit too strong. All the SCVs here at the front going to be repairing each other and just body blocking this tight little space between the Nexus and the wall here. Getting on top of this Nexus, he's going to start to bunker push towards the main base. Actually, a little bit crazy. If he tries to go up this ramp, it's going to be pretty insane, but he's got enough Marines here. He's got the SCVs. A bunch of probes are going to be pulled and brought down this ramp. He's trying to kill some of these Marines, but actually blocking a lot of his own units here, and the Zealots just can't get on top of any of this. Dragoon is out, but it's running down the ramp. Getting blocked by the Zealot now. Trying to get 1 kill on one of these Marines, but Light just going to push right up here into the main. This is a bit scary. He could end up kind of throwing away his position here if he loses all of these Marines, but I don't think he's going to end up losing them. I think he's going to end up pushing through and actually killing this gateway here. Probes getting on top of all of this, not too bad, but the Marines just kind of gunning down these probes one by one. He's killing so many probes right now. With 3 Dragoons, he should be able to kill all this, forcing them back down that ramp, but with 4 Marines here inside that bunker, looks like Stork not going to be able to push any further. Gas finally coming on the way online here for Light. His position is fantastic, but he has lost a lot of SCVs. Oh, he's going to run by. Oh my god, this is crazy. This is going to get really, really weird now with Stork running by, and there's actually not that many SCVs. And we've got more probes here than SCVs. That's crazy. Is Stork actually ahead in this position? What do you think?
Yeah, Stork's ahead, and the thing is, though, is that just because Stork's ahead right now doesn't mean he'll necessarily win, because Light can hold this ramp very easily. So even though Stork technically has more on paper, this still might eventually go in Light's favor. So we'll have to see. Right now we see Stork trying to see if he can edge his way up this ramp, but notices that the position is just too great. So instead he's going to have to try and just bust out and take his own expansion eventually, unless he wants to go for some kind of tech play to punish Light. But it's going to be a bit of a weird situation, I would say. Overall, I would say this definitely favors Light in the long run, but Stork is ahead on paper right now. So this is an interesting position. I think like Stork expands right now and keeps the pressure on Light. I think Stork's ahead. But I think, oh, look at this from Light. Okay, we're going to be seeing a bit of a cheeky play. He's going to be making like a stimmed fire bat, I think, maybe in the main base or something like that to try and kill a big bunch of probes. Yeah, he's going to do the stimmed fire bat thing. This is crazy. If this works, it's going to blow my mind. Saying he's going to try and get stimmed fire bats in the mineral line of Stork.
Oh, is this going to spot one probe? Is kind of moving through the main. I don't think that saw the barracks here in the top right hand corner. This is just barely out of vision. Oh my goodness. You know, this has happened to me before. It's not a fun experience. We're gonna see a bunch of probes go down here in a moment of duress, I think. Oh, here we go. Firebat's running into the main. Gonna dive on top of these probes. Looks like the probes being pulled away pretty darn fast. This one Firebat could get some big damage on some of these probes. Here we go. 4 or 5 probes have already gone down. He's stimming second time. This is all you're going to do is just keep hitting that stim button. Get as many kills as you can. Oh my god. Wow. So many probe kills.
Saying this is insane. What are we watching right now? He's chasing down the probes and gunning them down like this. What is going on? I don't understand. How is he this good? Like he's still killing probes in the main base, Saiyan.
Oh my god. This is craziness. The Nexus finishes up here in the natural, but we've got so few probes right now. Stork, if only he had his Dragoons near home. But he was over across the map, kind of pressuring this move forward by Light, making that distraction force work for him here. He brought out a couple of medics, a few Marines, and he just ran into the main with the Firebats. I thought that he wasn't going to get much damage because Stork pulled away his probes so quickly, but those Firebats just hitting that stim, hitting those drugs hard and running after those probes, managing to get way more kills than expected.
It was beautiful manual pathing from those Firebats. Like Light was not only stimming them constantly and keeping them moving, but he was manually pathing them to constantly catch up with the probes. They had slightly faster movement speed, and with a few fine controls and finesse, he was able to get into positions where he could still gun down the probes, even though they were being drilled away efficiently. So amazing play from Light, getting that kind of damage done. He's still not like out of the woods yet. He's put himself into a phenomenal position compared to what he was before. Before he made that attack, I would definitely stay true to what I said before. On paper, Stork was very far ahead of Light before that attack transpired. Now we're going to see the tech transition into Reaver play from Stork, which is a very good follow-up here. If there was any commitment to bio from Light, which we do see these medics and Marines being used to ward and weather the storm of, like, look at this, hang on, trying to get in the bunker kill, does able to snipe the bunker with these Dragoons. Stork opening up this position and starting to punish these Marines, hitting down one at a time. Only needs 4 shots to snipe the Marines, so with 5 you can guarantee to kill these Marines regardless of a little bit of heal from those medics as well. So it looks like Stork has completely flipped the table on Light and said, it doesn't matter that you killed all those SCVs with this pros of Firebats, buddy, because I'm just going to come in there with some old school Dragoon micro and just mess your face in.
Oh, that's so sad, actually. Light, he had a great position there. He was going to be, I think, winning from that spot, but not bringing down the SCVs. You know, he saw that there were a bunch of Dragoons there. He knows how many Dragoons are out on the map. He had only 2, I think, repairing at the front there, and then he pulled one off to start building a command center. Just a little bit too much greed from Light, and he gets punished brutally. He loses his natural. He's sitting here on just one base building tanks and turrets to try and defend against this upcoming Reaver, but we're going to have a 3rd base coming up here for Stork soon, and the Reaver is going to delay this natural base Generally, we end up seeing them delaying the third, but we're going to be delaying the natural here. Light is in a desperate situation. One gas, you really can't build much as the Terran player.
No, there's not really a whole lot we can do as Light in this situation. He really does need this expansion online as soon as possible, and I don't think Stork's going to allow him to take it. It's going to be a long time before there's enough tanks to shuffle down here to take this. He's going to try anyway, probably, but here comes the assault from Stork, landing the Dragoon and a Reaver. Here comes the Scarab connection on that siege tank, going to be taken out. The Dragoon's on the low ground as well, going to be raining down some phase disruptor shots as well if they want to. Oh, look at the snipe on those medics, going to try and open up the doorway so that the Dragoons can just come and run by the bunker and get on top of these SCV line. And not a lot Light can do now to stabilize. He needs to desperately try and surround these Dragoons with these SCVs, but it's going to be too little too late. There's enough damage being done to Light now that's kind of forcing him out of this game at this rate. There is a tank that's just popped out of the factory, but there's so many Dragoons left alive. He's going to snipe most of these SCVs. It doesn't matter if all these Dragoons die. As long as he kills pretty much a few more of these SCVs, there's just no way that Light will have the economy that he needs to stabilize himself in this game. Will not be able to produce the units that he needs to take this expansion to be able to hold this natural against Stork as he takes his third base, and then eventually Stork's going to be able to overpower him in this game.
Yeah, we did lose the Reaver, so that's something, I guess, for Light, but he just doesn't have a bunker here. He doesn't have a barracks to build Marines. He's sieging up one tank on the ramp and kind of hoping for the best right now, but Stork is just light years ahead. He's double the supply almost. We've got the third base on the way here. This has been an incredible, insane game, actually. This is one of the best Protoss versus Terrans I think we've seen for a little while now.
Yeah, and the scan coming down and sniping this observer. I was really hoping, we were saying just before the game started, I was hoping we'd see a great game from these two players on this map, Saiyan, and I'm very pleasantly surprised, even though I'm not too surprised, that we're seeing an exceptional game from the likes of Stork, the King of Silver, and Light, this absolutely exceptional Terran player. That's an absolute privilege to cast and watch his games. He's such a talented player, and only someone of Stork's experience and vast knowledge and array of potential plays that he can throw at his opponents could be able to handle someone like Light throwing those kinds of plays at him and still recovering to put himself in this position. It's absolutely crazy to think about that these players have experienced at these kinds of game states and are able to navigate their way into these advantageous positions despite being in such a weird situation only moments ago. Kind of incredible and inspiring to see. Do you think that there's any chance that Light has of winning this game? Because I don't think so, Sam.
Well, he's decided to go for a Hail Mary play. He's going to throw the ball all the way down the field and see if somebody can pick it up and catch it. He's gone ahead and dropped 4 barracks in the main base. He's just going to go full-on Marine medic attack here and see if he can't do it with the Marines, medics, and tanks. These medics out here at the front are actually not going to reveal the strategy too much for Light, because he already built those earlier. He built some medics earlier, some Marines earlier. But Stork, he's got his Reaver here at the front already. As long as he doesn't lose the Reaver and the shuttle, he should be fine. Templar Archive's been thrown down as well, so he's completely actually aware that there's going to be a Marine medic follow-up attack, and he's going to get all the tools necessary, all the tools possible to just shut this down while so many barracks have been thrown down. Light, I don't think this Hail Mary play is going to work. I don't think he's going to be able to get anything done with this. He's got +1, I guess, going for these Marines. That's going to be strong, but there's just going to be so much splash damage and so many gateway units here to fight through. I don't think he can make it happen. Full 50 supply disadvantage here for Light right now as he starts to move forward with this play. He's going to pick off the Observer, but Observer doesn't really matter in this case because we don't even have any mines on the map at all. Nothing to observe, really. Just run forward here and try to take this out. There goes the Reaver's drop. He's going to take the couple shots on these tanks. He really needs the Reavers to clear the Marines, but it looks like the Zealots are doing a decent job of that. Zealots are actually going to get evaporated here now that the Reavers have been pushed away. Tank count has been reset, though, pretty much. The supply gap is a little bit smaller, but Stork bought himself some time. There's really not that much army here for Light, as he pushes across the map, he's going to try and hit the natural, but we've already got Templar out here in the front. He just needs to buy a few more seconds here for that to finish, that Storm to finish, and these Templars to have that energy to push all of this back. Here we go, coming up with the tanks. He cannot be losing these tanks right now. Buying, or just kind of tanking for, tanks actually their namesake right now, tanking for the Marines. Kind of the other way around of what it should be. Nice snipe on the Templar. Actually gets one of the Templar, but we're going to have Templar drops now. Storm comes down on these medics and Marines, and everything gets pushed away. This is lights out here for Light. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to push through here.
Yeah, there's just no way Light can do it anymore. It did make sense, like you say, it was a good Hail Mary attempt from here. GG finally called. Going for this bio play was maybe his only chance at coming back in this game. He needed something very cost efficient, even though he was already at a deficit dealing with the Reaver and Templar switch. So knew he was basically up against it, but did what he had to maybe try and get some kind of win condition in that really, really precarious situation he found himself in. Very crazy and interesting game we had there, saying. Really like the stimmed firebats in the main base and gunning down those pros of some beautiful manual pathing, and Stork masterfully navigated that game by just busting open that bunker before any repair could be made and just opening up the position, denying the expansion being mined, and just mastercraft from the King of Silver here, showing us that no matter what goes on in this game, you can still navigate your way to a lead.
Yeah, that was a pretty insane showing, and getting the clapper from KCM and Piano here. I think both players deserving praise in that game. Light tenaciously attacking over and over again with the Medic Marine, trying to find ways to punish that early Nexus and fight back against what's a very annoying play from the Protoss players these days, which is going for those early Zealot aggression with the gas steel. He almost managed to make that work. He killed the Nexus, he got into the main base. I don't know if that's ever advisable, honestly, from Terran to try and kill the main with the Medic Marine, but he almost made it happen. He almost got the win there, and then everything kind of fell apart when his natural got broken by that Dragoon counterattack. Crazy, crazy game. There's a lot more to say about it, but we're going to jump into our next match here. With the Light being eliminated, he's not going to be able to get that all kill, and Stork will go up against Queen. Coming up next. Yikes.
Yikes. Crazy game.
That was something else.
I was counting on it, man. I was counting on a good game between these two guys. We got it. We didn't get the game I thought we would get, but we got something better in a way.
Yeah, that was wild.
I knew there'd be sparks. I knew there'd be sparks and fireworks, but I thought it'd be more of like a mid to late game kind of thing with like carriers involved, not that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely exciting to see either way. I knew there'd be something happening crazy between these two.
Oh man, yeah, that was wild. Definitely wasn't expecting the Firebat play either. That Firebat play was crazy. All right. Need a minute? Need to get something to drink, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the vape and then get a drink. So give me a few minutes.
Okay. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab something.
Nice. You'll be starting the next game shortly. Hope you guys are enjoying the cast so far. Getting a little backstage.
All right, how we doing?
Doing good. Just finished hitting. Pretty much ready to go in like just a second ago.
I just received delivery here. Got my gaming chair.
Oh, nice. Which one did you get?
GTX Tracer, whatever it's called.
Hey, if it looks good and you like it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, it was pretty reasonable, like $150.
Nice.
A lot of them are like $500. It's crazy. My back has been pretty sore recently, doing so much casting and gaming. It's been like
Need some lumbar support.
not good. Yeah, I need some lumbar support for sure. It needs something a little higher too. My wrist has been annoying me.
Well,
My table's kind of high.
right. Okay. Well, you also definitely make sure your arms are as flush with your desk as you can get them as well.
Yeah, right now my arm is like goes a little lower than my desk, so
Ooh, yeah, not
I
so
have to
good.
kind of like my shoulder is a little sore. So yeah, I'm hoping that's gonna be a lot better comfortability wise, make me not as sore from doing work. Looking forward to it. I'm gonna set it up after we finish this cast.
Yeah, it's like it's quite a fast one this week.
Could be. We're getting to the end here.
Yeah, final stretch. Unless like Queen's gonna like just start stomping everyone and like, you know, could happen.
Yeah, well, the games have been quick. A lot of crazy early game stuff's gone on. We haven't had any late games really. The closest to a late game we've had so far, I guess, would be Light versus Soma, right? With Soma got 4 bases, but yeah, that's about it.
Whew. Well, what's your predictions? Do you think that... Here's the thing, right? No matter what happens here, one of these two players is eliminated, and that means one of these races are out already. So now it's just going to be, you know, either Protoss or Zerg remaining against just Sark and JYJ. Like, it's very possible that I don't see either. I feel like Sark and JYJ are strong enough ilk of Terrans right now that I don't see Stork or Queen taking them both out. Is basically what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be tough. We can't rule it out, but it would be a really tough one for sure. I imagine Queen's gonna beat Stork here, and then Queen will lose to either Sock or JYJ. Maybe not in the first game, but definitely by game number 2, I think.
I think you're right. I think that's a pretty good assessment. All right, let's get into
I
it.
don't think. All right, I don't think the Stork has what it takes to take on Queen, but we'll see.
Right. I mean, not only take on Queen, but then could he even have a chance at beating Sark and JYJ? I mean, yeah, like he's gonna. I don't think he can take on Queen though. I think it's gonna be too hard for him. But we'll see. He can surprise us with some crazy shenanigans. Who knows?
All right, here we go. Game number 6, Queen versus Stork. Stork really surprising us with that win over Light. Was a wild and crazy game. Probably one of the best 2023 games, honestly. I think that's going to go on my list for a future video. Thinking of putting something like that together. But that was pretty awesome. Now, Queen here, I think, should be able to take out Stork. That's my prediction. We're on Retro. But, you know, Stork definitely proven himself here in this last game. I'm not going to count him out just yet. We've got a gateway first from him.
Ooh.
Now, I don't know if this is a good idea.
Well, it might be a good idea because he doesn't necessarily. Okay, I think in this situation it's going to be really tough for Stork because he's going up against 9-pool Queen. But on the other hand, I think Stork's kind of won the lottery because Queen got cross map, which actually really does slow down the potency of the 9-pool timing. Whereas if this was close spawn 9-pool against this gateway first, I'd be like, uh-oh, Stork's in a little bit of trouble here. Like, Queen's in a good spot. Not in a great spot. But with the cross map, I actually feel like Queen will not be able to do nowhere near as much damage to Stork as would have liked to in the early game. And even though we'll be getting his expansion on time here, I still feel this is Stork's kind of lucked out a little bit getting this cross map spot, I would say.
So what do you think is going to be the right response to seeing these links pop out here? Do you think he drops a forge immediately in the natural wall and just tries to battle at the wall, or does he go for a zealot probe on the ramp and just try to defend with pure zealot and probe?
Well, he can be greedy and just not make a forge at all if he anticipates that Queen will take the third. So he could, like, for now he could just take the Nexus and not make a forge and try and just pop out some zealots and use the zealot probe. But it's not really wise for him to go for this style. He needs the third zealot out before he can stabilize, because he needs to hold the ramp with a zealot and a probe while also having to get run. Like, as you can see, he's got lings on the left, lings on the right, so he needs 3 zealots to deal with this. It's very annoying for the Zerg to do this kind of thing to you as Protoss. Eventually you will stabilize as the zealots pop out, but yeah, I would say this is the way a pro gamer would react to this, because he wants to try and like min-max his build as much as possible, whereas like someone on the ladder probably would want to try and get their forge up right away after seeing the early pool. But I would say that this is probably the most effective way of dealing with it, because you min-max the build enough that you punish the Zerg even more, because you have to lose a little bit of mining time from the extra probe that you're pulling to hold the ramp as well. So this kind of evens it out even more.
Do you think that this is like a metagame play from Stork, the kind of realizing that Queen is not the type of guy to just keep building lings? Because he killed the probe, and if you just kill the probe and then keep on buying lings here, and there's no forge and only 3 zealots, you could probably just kill one of these zealots, maybe 2 of these zealots, and then kill the pylon, right?
Right.
I think that Queen could have definitely overwhelmed this play here, but Stork, he took all the risks. He was very greedy, and it's going to completely pay off here.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of exceptional what Stork's done in this game. Like, the way he's kept his cool. A lot of players would have kind of overreacted a little bit to the 9-pool, which is very easy to do. Because it is a very serious thing to worry about, because a little bit of miss micro and you can just lose the game as soon as the lings get into the main base or something, or they catch one of your zealots and they pick off a zealot for free, more or less. That it could just be game over for you at that point. So yeah, Stork handled that with a sense of class, and now he's going to be maybe setting himself up for a defensive position. We do see the free hatch lair build from Queen, very tried and true way of playing ZVP, so that's going to put him in a good position. Ooh, maybe Stork can get into the main base, though. He's going to confirm this if he doesn't get the surround with those links. Oh, beautiful surround from Queen, denying that scout getting into the main base. Link speed was just finishing up, so he knew that he'd be able to most likely deny that scout. Didn't even need to block with the drone for any moment longer. Now coming into the third base with these drones on the line, getting sniped, 2 of them going down to those zealots before they're beautifully cleaned up by those Zerglings, and now the rest of the zealots getting boxed in. It's actually really good news for Queen getting these zealot kills this efficiently, but he did lose 2 of those drones at the third base, loses a little bit of his power spike at this junction of the game, which is quite critical. But I would say overall this is pretty good for Queen, because he kind of took a lot of the wind out of the sails of Stork by catching all those zealots and killing them off without really losing anything.
Yeah, he's going to be able to re-drone here, but getting rid of a potential timing attack from Stork, right? When he's got that +1 attack and the speed, the attack is going to be much easier to hold. That means that Queen can get out a ton more drones right now. Of course, optimally, you would like to keep all of your drones alive, and he probably could have done so if he'd pulled his drones to the natural instead of just kind of moving them around in the third base. But you know, mistakes were made. It's not it's never perfect, and we've got a pretty decent game going here between Stork and Queen. Both players have, you know, taken their lumps, but they're both getting into their builds here, and the Corsair is going to have to retreat. It might end up getting picked off or going for this, but it's so hard to get these to actually connect. He's going to have to turn. Second Corsair is over here towards this natural. Do you think that we're going to see Mutalisk this game from Queen? We've got the second gas down already.
I think we should be seeing Mutalisks from Queen, yes. I can't imagine he won't. I think he will definitely keep it in his arsenal. He'll bank up the gas for the muters and then decide, do I make the 9 muters or do I not? Like, but he will bank up the gas right now and he'll start to think about it, yes. And as soon as the time is maybe right, he'll go, yeah, okay, it's time to make some Mutalisks now. He will definitely probably not be going into lurkers from here unless he wanted to try and go for a lurker contain really early on. It's very possible that he might identify, oh, I killed so many of your zealots, I could just go for a cheeky lurker contain here. That's also possible, but I don't think someone of Queen's caliber would worry about making a play like that. That's the kind of thing that like a B or an A rank player on the ladder would go for, maybe. For some of the Queen's style and finesse, I would imagine he's just going to go for like 6 hatch Hydra and then start to flood some muters at some point, and maybe a few Scourge to catch these Sayers as well. But for the time being, we are seeing the reasonable Sayer production from Stork, so he will have the potential to one-shot these Scourge as they come in and prevent the overwhelming damage from an Ogre Zerg play. So Stork's well aware that there will be a potential for that happening, at least.
Hydras on the ramp here are going to be able to defend these zealots very easily and safely. The SimCity behind this third base here is immaculate. It's beautiful. Queen is he has the setup right now to prevent any damage from these zealots, and the zealot number, as we've said, is very low for this point in the game. We should be seeing like a big timing attack here, but we've only got, what, 5 zealots moving around the map now, joined by another 2. We're up to 7, but with some good positioning here, there's really nothing that Stork can do aside from distract and try to kill a few overlords. This position here is it's a tiny bit more breakable, but we've still got a lot of Hydras in this spot. No Templar to kind of clear out the crowd here of Hydras sitting behind this wall. Making sure that there's no third base coming up for Stork. Queen is just powering up into that mid-game. Hydras are now coming out on the map. They're going to start to chase down a few of these zealots and kill them off before they can get back home. Nice trap there. Losing a few overlords out on the map, but trying to block these zealots. Really doing a good job here of killing off as many of those as he can. Do we have Storm back at home? We should have at least 1 Storm here. Some emergency cannons should be thrown down as well. Okay, we've got a DT at the front, so he's not going to have to throw down any emergency cannons. Queen has Overlord speed now. He's going to push this back, so DT not able to hold this off, but 2-3 storms should be enough to keep him from dying in this position.
Yeah, I would say for the time being, I don't think Stork's going to die, but it's looking slightly precarious for him as time goes on. I feel like Queen is going to slowly chip away at him. Now going to be forcing out some storms. Beautiful storms from Stork here, but still Queen not really worried too much from that. He didn't lose too many Hydras there, and getting rid of any kind of Psionic Storm right now is going to be a good trade for Queen, knowing that there's a few less storms that he has to worry about when the Protoss player does eventually come out on the map. it's going to be beneficial for him. So he always wants to be baiting those out. We see a big flood of Zealots out in the middle of the map right now. He doesn't want to send out the High Templars just yet because they're at risk of being sniped. So only the Zealots and Sayers will be deployed for the time being. Eventually, we'll see the High Templars added once he realizes that there's no flank set up to snipe them. We see one single High Templar with this group right now. He doesn't want to commit to, oh, the Corsairs are going down to the Hydras. It's a big mistake from Stork. He lost so many of those Sayers in such a short span of time, and there's a few flanking Hydras as well from the north coming in to get better surface area on these Zealots. It's really difficult for Zealots to protect this High Templar as well. Storm goes down, doesn't really connect with him, even making it into a lurker egg, so it doesn't even die to that Storm as well. Getting maximum value is Queen from this army, currently racing ahead of supply 99 to 91. The remaining Sayers flying around to the 3 o'clock position, heading to the natural to maybe get some scouting information and maybe pick up an Overlord or two, but not really going to be getting anything else for their efforts. We do see the 12 o'clock base is now coming online for Queen as well. Not yet saturated, but it doesn't really matter. The fact that he's even got this is huge. The fact that he's got 2 base economy for the Protoss player that's had their entire army decimated and now has to reproduce all of those units on just 2 bases worth of production. Meanwhile, the Zerg is now going to saturate this 12 o'clock up to 4 base worth of economy. There's a shuttle here for Stork. This could be the one thing that will clinch it for him if he can come back into this game. Maybe there's a lot of damage he can do with the shell, but a few Hydras are in position to put down some damage onto that, taking it down to 66 hull as well. So it will be difficult for maybe Stork to get into the main base to do much more with that if Queen has enough forces in the main base as well. So right now it's looking really tough for for Stork to do much to Queen here, I would say.
Ooh, there's Shuttle! Damn. Alright. Kind of the last move there for Shuttle. I gotta say, it was inspiring to watch Queen micro those Hydras there in the middle of the map. The way that he kited back against all of those Zealots and just didn't allow any damage from the Storm was crazy. He got such a huge advantage from that play. He's setting up for a giant lurker contain as well. He's going to allow, it looks like, Stork to take this high ground for now, but there's going to be a tiny little ramp that he can come down from that high ground towards the top left, and coming down that ramp is going to be very, very difficult with a lurker contain. The lurker contain over here on the bridge as well is nasty. That's right. The lurkers don't need to be this close. He's actually trying to break up this ramp right now with the lurkers in this position. He's going after some of the Templar. He gets both of them. Both Templar go down here, and he's going to start to push up, but that's a lot of Dragoons to try and fight through. I don't think this is the right choice, trying to break through. He's actually going to come forward with the lurkers here towards the natural, but these are really stacked lurkers. Lurkers going to eat huge, huge storms there. I think we just got it off screen. Big storm there on that big clump of lurkers, and now that contain is actually looking a bit weaker here. Would have liked to see Queen just kind of hang back and build up into this hive tech while sustaining the contain here, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hold this now. Maybe Stork can break free.
Right now, the defenses of Queen look a little bit thin in certain areas, but it's still a big army for him to have to fight against, and he does have to worry about maybe a counterattack coming in. If he tries to bust out on one side, the Zerg can come in on the other side and split out the rally point from being able to reinforce by recontaining the Protoss. So it's going to be really tough for Stork to be able to get out confidently here. He's going to have to try and skirmish with Queen, I believe, and it looks like Queen doing a little bit of a good job as well, reducing more of these Corsair counts with some the remaining Scourge just navigating to the south. But look at this beautiful move out from Stork. He's trying to push the issue, and he's putting his foot down a little bit and just trying to bust out with his Dragoons and Psionic Storms on the southern flank. But beautiful snipes on the Storms from Queen, taking out these critical High Templar units away from Stork's arsenal and preventing him from having the assets that he needs to push out onto the map, and reinforcing the southern threshold now is Queen. There's a lot of lurkers, a lot of Hydras here, but beautiful Psionic Storms blanketing those Zerg units. Stork looks like he has enough critical mass to start to come out onto this map here and put a lot of pressure onto Queen, but Queen is desperately trying to keep him pinned into place. It's a very tight choke for him to come out into. It's a nice little kill box that Queen has set up for these Protoss infantry units, and he's doing a great job of trading thus far. 130 supply to 150, looking so far pretty good for Stork if he can just get a few more
Sonic Storms down onto these packs or lurkers, but he hasn't got enough energy right now, and this Observer has gone down as well, so he can't detect these lurkers critically, and Stork, unfortunately, might have to retreat with his tail between his legs back into his natural.
Oh man, losing that Templar, losing that Observer at the worst possible moment. He's gonna try and move south here so that he doesn't have to come out through that tiny little choke again, but he's losing so many units here because of this move. His Dragoons are very, very low in HP as well. If Queen dives on this right here, right now, before the Observer comes out, he's going to kill this entire army. And here he goes, going to siege up all of these lurkers here at the front, getting a perfect surround on this army. And this has got to be it. There's just nothing left here for Stork. No Observer to heal this. Oh my god, the egg block on the ramp as well. Not allowing the Protoss units to retreat there onto that high ground. Beautiful play here from Queen. Just absolutely maxing out this play, this defensive play here. The Lurker contain play working out so fantastically for him. The snipes and the Observers have been fantastic. The Lurker play has been amazing. Queen just dominating performance here in game number 6.
This is like stellar stuff we're seeing from Queen. Look at the absolute spread of vision out of the map. The 4-base powerhouse late game macro style. Just remaining in battle Zerg mode the entire time. Just pure Zealot, Hydra, Lurker, Ling. Ready to just mow down any Protoss forces that try to dare make their way onto the map. Now Stork mined out on 2 bases. Trying to get out of the map with anything that he can. Has a last ditch attempt. 120 supply worth of Zealots, Dragoons and a High Templar. Not really able to make it happen though. Going to get absolutely mowed down by those subterranean spines of those Lurkers, and the Dragoons having to retreat now to this little bridge area. High Templar going to go down to those acid spines of those Hydralisks as well. Not really able to muster enough forces. GG finally called by Stork, tapping out wisely. Wow, Protoss completely eliminated from this lineup, so.
Alright. Nice. Nice. God, that was so impressive the way he handled the push out from Stork there. Like the way that he backed away from the army. Like I want to go back and look at that again. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it was like a perfect arc, and like there was little finesse things where when he did get stormed, he even morphed like the Hydra into a Lurker egg and stuff. There was some really crazy level stuff there from Queen.
Like if I'm Queen against this, like it's so hard to fight even just a small number of Zealots or a small number of Templar with a group of Zealots this big. With the +1/+1 as well. So impressive. Wait, let's take a look at this. Everything's grouped up so tightly here. The moment he sees the Templar though, he actually backs away perfectly. Look at this. Everything's just gone. Like there's nothing to storm, and oh, there's a group of Hydras to storm. Nope. There's nothing left there. It's so crazy. Oh my gosh. Like right here. This is where I die right here. Right here, you know what I mean? Like look at how stacked up the Hydras are, and the Templar is just about in range, and everything just splits.
Yeah, and no, try and visualize a square around the Templar. One thing that's really important to new players, if you're looking at the screen right now, try and visualize a big square around the Templar, which is where he can cast the Storm ability, right? And look at how the Hydras spread out outside of that square of influence. So there's no way that they can possibly get... If you try and visualize a big square around that Templar and watch that fight again, and look at how good the Hydra positioning is.
It's so good. So good. Like right as he gets into that square, like, boop, everything backs away.
It's phenomenal. You see that? Yeah, like it's just total awareness. Just total awareness.
Absolutely destroyed. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know how many.
Go on.
Like the years of practice to get that good just shows through so strongly there. Looks like we're gonna have Sock. Sock is gonna be coming out here. Gonna save the ASL champion for the last. Best for last.
Well, best for last. It would be funny if we actually had last, the Terran player last, and saved him for last. Then you'd have last for last.
Well, it's too bad we didn't have best in this lineup because then it might have really been best for last.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. We had best for last for last. What a shame that joke won't be in the final edit. Maybe it's a good thing, I don't know.
올킬은 안 나옵니다. 자, 올킬 없습니다. 다음 주에 120만 원.
All kill price looking juicy right now. $1,000,001. I think that's like $1,000, right?
Yeah, about $1,000 or so. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
$800, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the exchange rate fluctuates a little bit, but yeah, it's a decent purse. But 800 to 900 around there, depending on the market.
Not bad, not bad. All right, we ready for this?
You're ready for this? Yeah, I'm ready.
그렇죠.
그래서 올킬이 참 그럼요.
Okay, they're gonna send out Sock for our match number 7 here. Potentially the last match of the night, as Protoss has been eliminated. We're fighting for first and second place here. See if Queen can clutch it out against two of the best Terran players that we've got right now. Both Sock and JYJ here, ready to go. Loading up into La Campanella, which is quite a crazy map. We haven't seen a lot of Zerg versus Terran here to see exactly how this is going to go, and we certainly haven't seen many late game Zerg versus Terrans here yet.
No, we haven't. Oh, interestingly enough, though, saying, as we talked about before, we did have a commenter confirm that this map apparently is the Little Bell in Italian. So we've discovered the truth that yes, map is the Little Bell. So we've managed to come to the truth of that finally.
You want to shout out who it was who?
Oh, absolutely.
Who brought that out?
Yeah. Should we shout him out? It only makes sense, right? Okay, so that was the Matman 06. Yeah, the Matman 06. Thank you for that little tidbit. We appreciate you.
Doing our research for us, yeah.
Much obliged, good sir.
All right, well, we've got La Campanella here. We've got the Little Bell. I think on the Little Bell, we're going to see some Muta Micro. I feel like it's going to be very strong here with the space behind the mineral patches. I guess you can throw down quite a few turrets back there at the third base, but not until you actually mine through those minerals or hop an SCV over there.
Yeah, this is the problem, is how do we really do that, though? I guess you could hop over an SCV and slowly add on turrets one at a time, but it's not really the most efficient way of handling that situation. So it'll be interesting to see how Sark wants to optimize the early game Muta defense. He probably won't want to do anything too crazy for the time being. We see these beautiful little 6 drones just ready, waiting in the wings, trying to pounce on top of these Marines at the right time. He's going to retreat forward. The other 2 remain outside to maybe come in for a flank on the other side to maybe punish these Marines. We see the little drill to the other side with that Marine with the SCV. So going to be really sneaky here with these Marines and extremely annoying. Oh, he doesn't get the Marine over, though. He needs to be careful. He might not be able to get this Marine in time as the Lings come in, tries to pounce on, but he gets the Marine through anyway. Looks like Queen's not even going to get this SCV for his trouble as well. This is extremely annoying for Queen to have to deal with this. Like, he's just going to go for a counter-attack, but there's a Vulture on the way for Sark over wall. What a great technical opening we see from Sark. A beautiful little 1-1 opening from him. Really going to throw Queen off his A-game a little bit and force a bit of a weird situation where he's going to have to try and build a creep colony or something to have to try and defend that expansion area. He's not going to be able to do any kind of pressure play to this wall in with a Vulture as well. So Sark looking in a great position
position and really kind of taking control of the flow of the game. And the ebb and flow has been completely demolished for Queen here.
Yeah, he's got no drones in the natural, so no easy way to throw down an immediate sunken colony. He's going to drop a Hydralisk Den in desperation right now. It's going to be a good tool to deal with the Vulture as well as those Marines on the other side of the wall. This is a terribly annoying situation to have here for Queen. I think Sok has really thought out the way that he's going to play on this map. I'm surprised he's revealing this strategy here. This is something you almost want to save for the ASL, just how like nasty this is going to turn out for Queen. Like getting I think that Queen is definitely going to be prepared for this type of strategy. If he does have to play this in the ASL, it's something you have to take into consideration as a potential for the Terran player. After watching how successful it is here in the KCM, man, this is crazy.
Well, it's definitely a really strong pocket build you wouldn't want to reveal too soon, but interestingly enough, I really did like what Queen did there to catch the Vulture in the main base. He had a little drone go around the southern side of the mineral patch to catch that Vulture, denying some of the extra damage that could have came in from there, so mitigated some of the potential losses to that Vulture, and now going to be glitching a Ling or two over to the other side to try and punish these Marines, since the Hydralisk isn't going to quite cut it, since it's a little bit too far back on the patches. So going to be trying to get two of these Lings to bully these Marines one at a time. Beautiful micro from Sark, though, going to make it so that these Lings aren't going to be able to cut it themselves. So now still going to be annoying with these Marines. May even have to hop over more and more Lings to deal with that. Could just hop over a Hydralisk, I guess, but the problem with that is then he can't hop the Hydralisk back, so it becomes a bit of a weird situation for him where he has to decide, do I want to just keep hopping over a few Lings to deal with that or not? Probably will just hop over another Ling or two to deal with that, but there's like Sark going to try and come up and press the issue himself, kills one of those Lings before he can even finish hopping over. Being absolutely maximum annoying is Sark with these two Marines at the start of the game. He's really thought this build out and really analyzed the different flowchart of possible behaviors that the Zerg could do to try and counteract this, and he's got a little plan of his own. Every time the Zerg goes to try and do something as a micro adjustment to handle this build, he's got something else planned as well.
Yeah, we're going to have a drop now into the main. We've got mines all over the map. Sok has played this out brilliantly here. And the next stages of the game, we're going to see some science vessels coming here for Sok. Meanwhile, distracting into the natural with the Wraith. And he's going to come right in here to the main, kill off this Hydra. Just focus that down. He's got mines behind this, so he can defend his... Vulture's going to try and get as many kills as he can. Looks like a mine has managed to pick off one of these Hydras. And one Hydra versus 4 Vultures is not a good fight. Some Mutas finally do pop out, but lots of drones going down here in the main base. Oh my goodness, so many drones being picked off. The Mutas are trying to clear this up, but oh man, that is brutal, brutal damage. Back at home, Sok, he's already got a science vessel on the way. He's got turrets coming up here. This is a masterclass in how to pull apart a Zerg with a crazy build on a new map. It's super impressive to see here from Sok.
Yeah, and he's barely getting these defenses up at home in time as well, saying like just as the Mutas finally get there, the turrets are going to be finishing. It's absolute masterclass is an understatement of the century. Sark has just been playing like an absolute phenomenon as of late. I can't really quite put my finger on what has clicked in his brain for him to reach the new plateau of skill. And that's the thing with these Terran players, is they kind of get stuck on the same plateau for quite some time. They need to kind of like curate a new set of skills before they can reach the next plateau. And it seems Sark has finally got his stuff together and has progressed on to the next plateau of existence, coming into the main base and sniping these drones with finesse as well here. Sark gaining an even bigger lead against Queen right now as he desperately comes into the main base with these Mutas, trying to even things up. But it's a beautiful spread of turrets and a science vessel with radiant energy just finishing up now. 7 Mutas are enough to one-shot these SCVs and put a lot of damage onto the SCV line of Sark with so many turrets and the radiate available to bully those back while the Wraith is going to town, or maybe sniping one of these overlords as well. And I don't think Queen's going to get back in time to deal with that.
Yeah, he's going to pop out a couple of Mutas back at home, but he loses Overlord, gets supply blocked once again. So frustrating here, the way that Sok's playing this out. I do not envy Queen right now for trying to defend against all of this craziness. It's got to be annoying as heck. We do have the drones being reproduced here. We do have some more mutas popping out, but really, Sock has spared no expense in defending against these mutalists this game. He's not taking any risk here, building a ton of turrets in the main base. Look at that, 4 turrets on top of these barracks. Another 4 or 5 turrets in the main. Plus, we have the science vessels ready for that irradiate to go down at any time here that Queen decides he really wants to dive in. Boom, irradiates come down. 2 irradiates here. Great pull out there, but I mean, about as good as you can ever pull out 2 mutas with that irradiate on them. But still, this is very, very rough right now for Queen. He's going to be forced back. He can't really break any of these turreted positions, and he doesn't have a third base right now.
Yeah, it'd be almost suicide for Queen to keep trying to maintain Mutalisk production and try and break this position. So he's instead going to maybe transition into getting some lurkers out or speed hydras to try and have... Oh, yeah, it looks like he's going to pull some speed hydras and try and do this with Muta Hydra and maybe catch the Terran player Sark unawares by surprising him with a big flood of Hydralisks all of a sudden to try and overwhelm him. I'm not sure if that's going to quite be successful. Also, meanwhile, going to be trying to I think he's faking going for this expansion, but what he doesn't realize is that there's still a mine that he didn't clear out there. So Sark knows he's not going for this expansion, but Queen doesn't know that Sark knows he's not going for this expansion. So Sark's in a great spot right now because Queen's going to commit to this attack, but he hasn't convinced Sark that this isn't happening. So he's really telegraphed this is happening. So Sark's in a really great spot. I don't see how he can lose from here.
Ooh, almost gets a mine connection there. Nice job. Scan comes down. He sees everything. A couple of irradiates are going to go down. We've got 4 vessels now and a tank. I don't see how Queen can break through this. He's giving himself the best possible chance to break through, but with a bunker and this number of Marines and vessels, man, there's almost no way you're getting in here. He's going to try and kill off the bunker. Now, bunker is going to go down. Hydras are going to start to kill some of these Marines, but the nice D-Matrix there, keeping a lot of those Marines alive. The Hydra count is dwindling. Tanks are still here. More and more Marines hitting the field. GG! Queen taps out. Sock takes him down. Excellent, excellent technical play there from Sock. I hope that these other Terran players in the ASL are going to be watching this game and taking notes right now, because that was a masterclass in how to play a 1-1-1 build on La Compañía. He showed it perfectly, and it's going to be incredibly hard to hold that sort of build for any Zergs on that map. There's going to have to be some sort of adjustments made for Zerg players on this map just to deal with that type of build right there.
Oh, absolutely. I think you might even see 11 pools start to come out, maybe.
All right. So I can make a lineup screen here. I want to talk about how much of a bummer it is that Sock didn't make it into the ASL, man.
Yeah,
so rough.
He's playing so good, man.
He's playing so good. And oh, here we go. We've got it right there. He's playing so good, and I feel like that's a build, honestly, that he might have pocketed, you know, like he was developing it for the ASL, and since he's not going to get his chance to shine and show it off, yeah, or utilize it to take out a strong Zerg in the ASL, he's like, okay, well, I mean, I've made this, so I might as well use it. They're just going to use it in the KCM instead, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about what can you Saiyan, please help me try and make sense of what's going on with the Protoss dugout though, because like do you think they just didn't want to even attempt to go for like the finalist spot? Do you think they're just gonna like happily play the semifinals or whatever?
I don't know what they're thinking, man. It's crazy. It's really wild. Yeah, it's a shocker, honestly. I don't know what their their plan is, or why they decided. Who brings? Who even is Mool Soul? What the hell is that?
Are they trolling? Is this a? That's what I don't get. Like, have they just like all collectively agreed that they're just going to play the semifinals and like keep a lot of their builds secret and like do like a late game bloom, and like try and I don't know, but it almost seems a bit like troll that they'd bring someone like Mool Soul out. And I mean, Mighty definitely is not a bad player, but he's certainly not on the same caliber as these other guys as an amateur himself. So I don't know, like what the thought process is here. Yeah, they're kind of sending out sacrificial lambs. I mean, Stork definitely put up a valiant effort, though. I would say he definitely could take pretty much any of these guys out on a good day, but still not able to. He's probably not of the caliber that he needs to be able to all kill some of these guys. He certainly needs good teammates still. So yeah, I'm really not sure about that lineup choice from Protoss.
That was crazy. All right, you wanna talk about all that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, taking a look at the score screen here, we've got Terran pulling ahead of the pack. Protoss, what the heck, man? What happened with this Protoss lineup?
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like they voluntarily want a flatline. It's just like they've decided they want to become semi-finalists already, and they just say, "Nah, okay, we're gonna sit back. We're gonna throw out Mulso. Okay, we're gonna throw out Mulso and Mighty, and then throw out the King of Silver, Stork, because he's got a fighting chance." I don't know what they're thinking, man. If you want to, Stork makes sense because Stork at least can hold his own against these guys. He certainly can't all kill any one of these lineups, though, for sure. So he needs at least some good teammates to back him up. There's no way they're going to score any points with that kind of lineup. So I don't know what Protoss are playing at. Maybe they've got some kind of back pocket plan where they want to like let the other teams punch their way out, because you saw the likes of Sark pull out those kinds of builds and those kind of maps, revealing their hands during these weeks to score these points, and they want to just let the Zerg and Terran punch themselves out to try and get that finalist spot. Meanwhile, they're going to be holding their builds back a little bit and kind of try and maybe take them by surprise in the final stretch of the event. Who knows what's going on, but it seems a little bit troll, seems a little bit suspect, I would say. So a little bit confused about that, Sam. What about you?
It seems weird. It's like throwing out kind of sacrificial lambs here, just letting these lower tier Protoss bash their heads against the A team lineup. Terran and Zerg really bringing the S-class players out in this week of KCM, battling for that first place spot. It's not possible for Zerg to surpass Terran at this point, so maybe next week we're going to see kind of a B tier lineup. Terran has basically secured their victory here and that finals spot, so it's strange, man. It is very, very strange. I've been hoping and praying that we're going to see Rain and Bisu come out in one of these weeks. Who other Protoss would you like to see in this lineup?
Always Snow. I like to see Snow. I think Snow is one of the only players that can really compete with the kind of dominant Terran players we have right now in this dugout. They've got such powerful talent they can draw from. Like, I don't know how you can compete with like the likes of Royal Light, JYJ, and Sark, and without bringing out someone like Snow. You kind of have to bring these more like specialist type players that actually can just dominate Terrans with any skill level. You do need that kind of ability at this point of the tournament, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't even seen Free for a long time. He's in the ASL this season. I would have liked to see him instead of someone like Mighty or like Mool Soul, but it is what it is. As for the Terran lineup, the Sock came out here and showed an amazing game versus Queen there to end this one off. I'm so sad that he didn't make it into this ASL.
Yeah, it's it's actually kind of devastating, isn't it? Because he's such a talented player, and he's finally sort of come into his element and starting to play some really great games. I don't know what it is about him, if he has just like something clicked in his head, and he's like reached this new plateau or foundation, and he's kind of got some things figured out that he didn't have before. I don't know what quite is going on with him, but all I can say for certain is that he's definitely putting on an absolute stellar performance. He's definitely on form right now, and it would be amazing to see him play some great games in the ASL. It's a damn shame we're not going to see that.
Yeah, it felt like that last build there was something like a brainchild of Sock that he'd been nursing for a while and preparing for the ASL to take out some Zerg player on La Campanilla. But unfortunately, since he didn't make it in, he's just going to bring it out for us here in the KCM. So happy to see that build. I think we're going to see variations on that build on La Campanilla in the future. Because it is such a strange map, and hopping Marines over the wall is so powerful there, as we saw.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away. He also kind of fumbled the execution as well. It took him a while to get those Marines across. So the fact that he had the bracket of error to fumble it that much and still be able to pull it off as well makes me think that there may need to be an adjustment on that map where Zerg start to think, okay, maybe do I need to go for 11 pool instead, or they might maybe change up the way they approach it. Maybe they'll just make the creep colony to bully the Marines back. But I don't think the Zergs will want to do that, because then they're kind of messing up the mining of the mineral pathing as well, and it's really unoptimal to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see like what kind of adjustments these players have on these newer maps as they become more figured out, and like some little cheeky strategies like that will come to the surface. There'll need to be a lot of adjustments from both sides after the fact. So it'll be interesting to see how the meta shifts over the next week, I would say, on maps like that. So I'm looking forward to it.
And guys, we know that ASL is going on right now, so we really appreciate you supporting the KCM here, supporting the channel as well. Make sure to check out Shin's links in the description. Go over to KCM. His channel as well is in the description, the very first link. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to KCM as well. We really appreciate it. Make sure also to keep your comments spoiler free for both the KCM and the ASL. That is something that we don't like to see. I have been accused in the past of deleting comments, but guys, I'll tell you right now, the only comments I delete are spoilers. I'm a very big advocate of free speech. You can write whatever you want down there, as long as you're not spoiling other people's experience of these amazing tournaments, then I am all for it. So with that being said, guys, this has been your daily dose of Brood War. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. We're getting better. We're getting better at this shit.
Yeah, man, that's cool. It was good.
All right. We're improving. What I like to see.
Yeah, it was tight. I also like how we did a shift from where like we were doing like super serious casting to when something funny happened, and we like loosened up the cast just a little bit for that funniness, but then we like quickly like tightened it up again afterwards. But we like allowed for that like overlap of like hilarity to ensue just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right, we didn't roll with it too long, or
right.
shut it off too quick. I think that was good.
It was a good balance. I thought we did good to riff with that and allow it to happen. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we should do that only when those moments call for it, where there's actually something genuinely like, oh shit, like we can actually laugh about this a little bit and like riff a little bit and then quickly snap back to the reality kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's a tough balance. But yeah, it's something that people like our Artosis and Tasteless do incredibly well. They just like they turn it on and then they're back to the game really quickly. It's usually Artosis who brings it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's usually Tasteless is a lot more silly.
Well, yeah, Tasteless is like the comic relief hype man, whereas Artosis is like the analytical play-by-play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense categorically. Like, we've got the Protoss player not taking it seriously, just kind of joking
Yeah, he's
around,
the
you know.
Chad. Does he have to like work at casting or just like lines up for him? You know.
Yeah, you can tell that none of this is scripted. Nothing's been planned. He's just like Artosis has done his research. He's like in the background.
Taser just gets lucky every time he casts. It just works out for him.
Shit, it's funny. All right, I'm gonna put this chair together and I'm gonna put this video together.
Nice.
Thank you, man. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, always a pleasure, Sam.
Fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Have a good time with your stream. Everyone's doing good.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
You playing any Brood War recently, man?
Only
Even
like
the-
some theory freeze here and there, mainly. Yeah.
I did a couple of streams recently, doing some ladder,
Oh yeah.
just for like an hour or two.
I think I tuned in a little bit actually when you did one of those streams.
Oh yeah, it's been tough, but I'm getting close to 1900, like 1880, something like that.
Nice. You're killing it, man.
Yeah,
Think of where you were
Yeah,
at. You know what I
getting
mean? You're killing it.
yeah. It's been a long road, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
And your channel's
think,
doing great too.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's slowing down a little bit here because ASL started now, but it is what it is. No
That's okay.
worries. We're just gonna keep pumping.
You still got your growth spurt. You're still going to be getting numbers coming in though. It's still going to be positive. You might have seen a little bit of slow here and there, but you know things will pick up again.
Yeah.
You just keep
Yeah,
at
we're
it.
just gonna keep pumping. All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later, buddy. You take it easy. Hope the chair's nice.
It will be. Thanks. Bye.
Peace. All right. Well, guys, thank you for tuning into the stream. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this week of KCM. I certainly did. I'm really looking forward to seeing if pros have got anything planned in the future weeks, if they're just going to like flatline themselves out until the semifinals and pull out the big guns or what. But we definitely can see strong performances from Terran and Zerg, it seems, each week, which I'm really excited about because TVZ is my favorite matchup. So looking forward to that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a really fantastic evening. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you all next time.